Chapter 3959. Chapter 3959. Princess Yinling. Chapter 3959. Princess Yinling. Lady Northern Foam glared at Mrs. Dugu. Mrs. Dugu said innocently, "Isn't that the case? Without the Dian Empire, the Junwu Empire would be the Junwu Empire. Now that the people of the Dian Empire are here, the Junwu Empire is no longer the Junwu Empire." Lady Northern Foam was furious, but she couldn't deny that Mrs. Dugu was telling the truth. It just didn't sound nice. "I see that the Junwu Empire still has some wise people." Princess Yinling smirked and stared at Fengwu. "Bring it on. I'll show you how invincible the Empire is." With a wave of her hand, the two capable cultivators next to her backed away. Meanwhile, Princess Yinling took out her whip. It was a red whip with barbed thorns, resembling a venomous snake. Before she could say anything, Princess Yinling struck first. With a smack, the red whip whipped down at Fengwu's face. Instantly, spiritual essence filled the air. With the whipping, the space between Fengwu and Yinling became chaotic, and the atmosphere was very gloomy. A short distance away, everyone drew in their breaths. It was such a terrifying power. She's at the peak of the spiritual overlord stage. As soon as Princess Yinling made her move, someone in the crowd spoke. It was none other than Long Yini, the head of the Long family of Grey Dragon Valley. The Long family sat very close to Lady Northern Foam, who asked, "Princess, Yinling is a peak spiritual overlord now." Long Yini took a deep breath and nodded. "That's right. Princess Yinling has indeed reached the peak of the spiritual overlord stage, and she's only a step away from the spiritual saint stage. That breakthrough may be today or in a few years." Lady Northern Foam asked anxiously, "What about Xiao Wu?" Before, Lady Northern Foam could tell Fengwu's cultivation level, but in the past 6 months, she couldn't anymore. Long Yini watched as Princess Yinling closed in with the red whip, but Fengwu dodged. After a strike, Fengwu ran away, while Princess Yinling ran after her. "Wait a minute," Long Yini cried out. "What happened? Just tell us." Mrs. Long grabbed Long Yini's sleeve and prompted him. It was true, because the battle had involved a cultivator at the peak of the spiritual overlord stage. Many people didn't understand it and were waiting for Long Yini's explanation. "What level is Xiao Wu now? How many stances can she take? How's she doing?" The two of them fought so fast that they left after images behind. It would be impossible for the others to follow. "That's so strange." Long Yini suddenly smacked the table and rose to his feet. "How can this be? How?" Lady Northern Foam wanted to kick him. What was that supposed to mean? Just say it. Long Yini took a deep breath. "If I'm not mistaken, little Fengwu is a peak spiritual overlord as well. Am I seeing things?" Long Yini had met Fengwu a year ago. Back then, Fengwu was only a spiritual lord, but now she was a peak spiritual overlord. Everyone shook their heads. "That's impossible. Fengwu was only a junior spiritual king when she graduated from Imperial College." "That's right. She was only a junior spiritual king when she went to the battlefield. How could she be a peak spiritual overlord now? How long has it been? A year? It's not a year yet. That's not possible." No one believed it. Mrs. Dugu said, "That's impossible." Long Yini smirked. If that girl wasn't a peak spiritual overlord, she wouldn't have been able to withstand Princess Yinling's attack for so long. They'd been fighting for 5 minutes. Everyone fell silent. It was true. If Fengwu hadn't reached the peak of the spiritual overlord stage, she would never have been able to survive Princess Yinling's attack. Meanwhile, Princess Yinling was driven mad by Fengwu. It wasn't because of Fengwu's capability, but because of her speed. She couldn't force Fengwu to fight her head-on, for Fengwu was as nimble as a fish. She kept jumping around, and Princess Yinling's whip couldn't even touch her. "Fengwu, how dare you run away?" Princess Yinling gritted her teeth. She didn't like the way she was now. The Dian Empire was several times more powerful than all the other kingdoms of the Junwu continent put together. Therefore, when she came to the Junwu continent, she was very condescending, just like when she was with Emperor Wu. She was a princess of the Dian Empire, and Emperor Wu was the ruler of a kingdom. They were of similar social status, so she didn't want to show him envy respect. However, she didn't expect that Feng would play her like this. Stop right there. Princess Yanling ran after Feng Wu with her whip. But the longer she chased, the more disappointed she became. She realized that Feng Wu was at least a level 9 spiritual overlord. The Junwu Empire was indeed full of unknown talented people. They already had Jun Lin Yuan, and if they also had Feng Wu. Just then, she heard a voice. Feng Wu has the divine phoenix blood. That's why she's making such rapid progress. It was Mrs. Dugu again. Lady Northern Feng grabbed Mrs. Dugu. Shut up. But she had said it, and it was too late to keep her mouth shut. The divine phoenix blood. Princess Yanling stared at Feng Wu in bewilderment. Why do you have the divine phoenix blood? Seeing that Princess Yanling had been distracted by those words, Feng Wu stopped running. On the other hand, thought that Feng Wu was still moving forward, which was why she kept moving forward. What happened was quicker than words could describe. Feng Wu had put on the arm of discipline. With a whoosh, the arm wrapped around the whip and pulled Princess Yanling, who was on the other end, to Feng Wu's side. Puff, puff, puff. Numerous thin needles shot out of the arm, aiming at Princess Yanling's vital parts. Everything happened so fast that no one had time to react. Princess Yanling, who was still immersed in the incident with the true phoenix blood, was caught off guard. Ew! Gritted her teeth and glared at Feng Wu. By then, Feng Wu had moved behind her and pressed the sharp dagger against Princess Yanling's thin neck. Feng Wu smiled a little. She was talking to Mrs. Dugu while keeping her eyes on Yanling. Thank you, my lady, for helping me. Mrs. Dugu blanched and didn't know what to say. She wasn't helping Feng Wu. She was helping Princess Yanling. But as it turned out, Princess Yanling had been defeated by Feng Wu. Meanwhile, everyone was staring at Feng Wu in astonishment. She won. Feng Wu had won. How is that possible? How? Princess Yanling was a peak spiritual overlord, but Feng Wu. Long Yinny was equally shocked. He had never expected Feng Wu to win. This is unbelievable, Long Yinny shouted inwardly. Meanwhile, Feng Wu pressed a dagger to Princess Yanling's neck and asked with a half-smile, "Are you going to give in?" Of course, Princess Yanling wouldn't give in. She smirked. "I'm not giving in." "What? Are you going to kill me now?" Feng Wu didn't speak. Thinking that Feng Wu had been rendered speechless, Princess Yanling smirked. "You know the 2 capable cultivators I brought here, don't you? Do you know how capable they are? Do you know that they'll wipe out the entire empire? How dare you kill me? Bring it on." Feng Wu narrowed her eyes and stared at Princess Yanling. Was very pleased. She was still gloating when something happened. With a thump, Feng Wu clenched the arm of discipline into a fist and punched Yanling. The impact almost sent Princess Yanling flying backward. It just so happened that Feng Wu was holding the back of Princess Yanling's collar with her other hand, which was why Yanling didn't fly away. Princess Yanling felt a sharp pain in her belly, so painful that she was almost in tears. Had been spoiled since she was little and had never been beaten up like this. However, Feng Wu punched Princess Yanling in the stomach again. "Are you going to give in or not? Are you going to give in or not?" With each punch, Princess Yanling arched her back like a cooked shrimp, and the pain made her break into a cold sweat. However, she was stubborn. Despite the pain, she wouldn't give in. "Feng Wu, kill me if you can. Otherwise, I won't give in." Feng Wu smirked. It seemed that she hadn't been harsh enough. With a thump, Feng Wu used the power of thunder. It was the power of thunder she had infused into the arm when she made it. Once she activated the thunder attribute, the arm would be covered with lightning. In Feng Wu's grip, Princess Yanling screamed. Her hair stood up, and she was trembling. Feng Wu smirked. "So be it. I don't really want you to give up either." Almost rolled around on the ground in pain. But she still wouldn't give in. They had made a bet that the loser would become the slave of the winner. As Princess Yanling of the Dian Empire, She couldn't become the slave of an unknown girl from a small country. Therefore, Princess Yinling wouldn't admit her defeat. Just then, two peak spiritual saints stepped out and walked up to them. "Grandpa Yao, kill her!" Princess Yinling shouted at one of them. Grandpa Yao, who had reached the peak of the spiritual saint stage, stared at Feng Wu with his cold eyes. "No!" Emperor Wu pulled Feng Wu behind him and smiled obsequiously at Yao. "She was reckless. Please forgive her. She's still." However, Grandpa Yao only smirked and made a little push. Chapter 3960. Chapter 3960. Feng Wu's Secret. Chapter 3960. Feng Wu's Secret. Emperor Wu was shoved away and smashed into the table behind him. "Your Majesty!" Master Gao steadied Emperor Wu and cried out. Emperor Wu almost had a heart attack. It was such a terrifying power. His girl. While Emperor Wu was worried about Feng Wu was sneering at Grandpa Yao. A smirk? How dare Feng Wu smirk at a peak spiritual saint? Everyone was snaking from head to toe. They couldn't help but panic when they felt the power of a peak spiritual saint. "You're a bold girl." Yao Yuan stared at Feng Wu with a cold look in his eyes. His tone was as calm as the ocean. "But even if you're that bold, you're still going to die today. So, that's the rule of your empire, isn't it?" Feng Wu said sarcastically. "You propose a bet first, then force a competition. You're going to kill someone if you lose? Is that how your empire behaves?" Princess Yinling rose to her feet and smirked at Feng Wu. "Young lady, I see that you really have no idea how capable the Empire of Dian is. This is a world where the strong are respected, and you're trying to reason with me? Why should I?" "Grandpa Yao, kill her now." Feng Wu asked why. Princess Yinling said, "Because I don't like you. Because I'm more capable than you, I can trample on a contract at will. Because I don't like you, even in your territory, my people can kill you however they want. I'm killing you because I want to. Reasonable? No one will reason with you in front of the powerful Empire of Dian. To people of small countries like you, every member of the Empire is a noble figure. If I want to kill you, I'll do it. There's no need to pick a date." Princess Yinling was unbelievably arrogant. Feng Wu gritted her teeth and stared at her. Princess Yinling smirked. "You don't like it? If you don't, go destroy the Empire one day. As long as it's alive, we'll be so much more prestigious than you." "Grandpa Yao." Princess Yinling couldn't be bothered to talk to Feng Wu anymore and prompted him for the third time. Yao Yuan nodded and stepped forward. He grabbed Feng Wu by her thin neck. He wanted to snap Feng Wu's neck. Feng Wu wanted to dodge, but Yao Yuan did something, and she felt so weak that she couldn't even lift a finger. Everyone watched as the peak spiritual saint lifted Feng Wu off the ground. Feng Wu's feet had left the ground, and she was suspended in midair. Emperor Wu and Lady Northern Feng bellowed at the same time. They wanted to charge out, but there seemed to be an invisible wall between Feng Wu and the man. No matter how hard they tried, they couldn't get in. Damn it, Feng Wu was going to be throttled. Emperor Wu spat out a mouthful of blood. How was he going to answer Jun Lin Yuan if Xiao Wu died? At that critical moment, a cold voice rang out. "Stop." His voice was so cold and authoritative that it gave one the creeps. Even Yao Yuan, a peak spiritual saint, felt a chill run down his spine. How is that possible? They were peak spiritual saints. Yao Yuan felt an invisible force on his throat. If he didn't let go, that dark energy would pierce his throat. What a terrifying opponent. Feng Wu fell to the ground with a thump. "Xiao Wu." Lady Northern Feng rushed over, caught Feng Wu, and led her away from Yao Yuan. At that moment, the owner of the voice finally showed up. "Master Ling Hu." Everyone let out a breath of relief when they saw who it was. That was right. Only Master Ling Hu could turn things around in a critical moment like this. It was like this for over a decade ago. Emperor Wu let out a breath of relief, but his stomach lurched. Master Ling Hu was about to die, and the old man had told him so himself. Would it affect his life? The thought made Emperor Wu even more flustered. Master Ling Hu was the pillar of the Junwu Empire, just like Patriarch Yin was in the northern Yin kingdom. Emperor Wu watched this closely and didn't dare to let his guard down. Meanwhile, Master Linghu was standing in front of two peak spiritual saints. "How's Prince Yin doing?" Master Linghu asked indifferently. Yao Yuan and Ma Quan looked at each other in surprise. Master Linghu wasn't a peak spiritual saint, but "You've reached that stage?" Yao Yuan gritted his teeth. Master Linghu said indifferently, "I was lucky. I've only just gotten started." Even so, he was more than enough to handle the two of them. At that thought, Yao Yuan and Ma Quan wanted to give up. Powerful cultivators like them cherish their lives more than anyone else. They had put in so much effort for their cultivation that ordinary people couldn't understand it. Therefore, they couldn't afford to die. "Linghu, are you going to make the Empire your enemy?" Yao Yuan warned him. Although they weren't as capable as Master Linghu, the empire behind them was enough to make all the capable cultivators of the Junwu Empire prostrate on the ground. However, Master Linghu only smiled and said coldly, "I'll kill you two first, then." Master Linghu was giving off a murderous energy. That Linghu was really, "Let's go." Yao Yuan and Ma Quan exchanged looks before dragging Princess Yanling away. Princess Yanling said angrily, "Grandpa Yao, I'm not leaving." But soon she was out of sight. When Master Linghu turned around and saw Feng Wu, the look in his cold eyes softened a lot. He said to Emperor Wu, "Take care of her." Emperor Wu nodded immediately. The next moment, Master Linghu was out of sight. He left as quickly as he had arrived. With a wave of his sleeve, he left no trace behind. However, the legend he left behind was very popular. The others let out a breath of relief. It had been a very difficult day. It was going to be a sleepless night after they left the Imperial Palace. They were all haunted by the dying empire. After 100 years, the empire was back. Many people only live for a few decades, and their impression of the empire was only in the legends. However, when the empire walked out of the legends and landed on the ground, things began to change in the Junwu continent. Yao Yuan and Ma Quan left the Imperial Palace with Princess Yanling. Outside the Imperial capital in the dense forest. "Grandpa Yao put me down," Princess Yanling shouted angrily. Only then did Yao Yuan let go of her. As soon as she landed, she gritted her teeth. "Grandpa Yao, Uncle Ma, when Father handed you to me, he told you to keep me safe. Is this how you protect me?" The two peak spiritual saints' faces darkened. Princess Yanling immediately realized that they were both peak spiritual saints. Even in the Dayan Empire, such capable cultivators were very hard to come by, and there were only a handful of them in the entire Prince Yan's residence. Ahem. She immediately changed her attitude and looked aggrieved. "Grandpa Yao, Uncle Ma, that Feng Wu has bullied me. How could you?" Yao Yuan frowned. "That Master Linghu is so capable. If we fight against him, he will suffer, but the three of us will die." Princess Yanling looked at him in surprise. "Grandpa Yao, is that true?" Yao Yuan nodded. Wiping away her tears, Princess Yanling smirked. "I didn't know there was such a person in the Junwu Empire. How interesting." Yao Yuan said, "I heard that Mu had a few pupils here. Is that Linghu his pupil?" Ma Quan frowned. "If that's the case, it'll be even harder to handle him." Princess Yanling asked, "Are you talking about that man?" Yao Yuan and Ma Quan, the two peak spiritual saints, didn't try to explain to Princess Yanling. Instead, they said, "It seems that it won't be easy for us to defeat the Junwu Empire." Yangling rubbed her chin and was lost in her thoughts. She was a smart woman. She was so angry just then that she almost lost her mind, but after she calmed down, she began to analyze the pros and cons. "I thought I could do whatever I wanted with their reverence for the Empire, but Master Linghu just showed up out of nowhere. It'll be very troublesome for the Empire to send capable cultivators here. The more capable they are, the more costly it will be. Sending us here will cost the clan a lot of money." Princess Yanling rubbed her chin and pondered as she walked. But the Junwu Empire does have a lot of secrets. There's that Lady Xuanji over there in Fallen Star Yard. Heh, she thinks I don't know who she is. If her father knows where she is, he'll probably come here right away. Yao Yuan and Ma Quan nodded. One look at Lady Xuanji's face, and one could tell who she was. It'll depend on my father if we should get rid of her or trade her for a favor. And that Feng Wu, don't you think she looks a little like Lady Xuanji? Princess Yinling was confused. I don't know where she came from, but we haven't heard anything about a peak spiritual overlord at such a young age. Let the Dugu family look into it as soon as possible. There's more. Princess Yinling gritted her teeth. What's that divine phoenix blood, Mrs. Dugu was talking about? It's so rare. Chapter 3961. Chapter 3961. Her Master's Secret. Chapter 3961. Her Master's Secret. Henvi. Princess Yinling said, even the royal family only has one descendant with that bloodline every generation. Moo, that person left with the divine phoenix blood. Is Feng Wu's divine phoenix blood related to him? That's very likely. Yao Yuan nodded. Ma Quan frowned. She's under Ling Hu's protection. There's nothing we can do. Princess Yinling smirked. It's just that we can't do anything to her for the time being. For one, we can write to my father and ask him to send more capable cultivators here. For another, we can start a war on the continent of Jiuzhou. The Dongseng Kingdom and the Junwu Kingdom are at war. Let's go to the Dongseng Kingdom, then. Princess Yinling smirked. Feng Wu, just you wait. At the same moment, Feng Wu was still unconscious. When she woke up, 3 days had passed. You're awake? Feng Wu heard a calm voice. The first person Feng Wu saw when she opened her eyes was Master Ling Hu. It's you. Feng Wu struggled to sit up and said in pleasant surprise, I knew you would come. Master Ling Hu rolled his eyes at Feng Wu. What if I couldn't make it in time? You're taking too much risk. Feng Wu smiled. No, I know you'll be here. Master Ling Hu snorted. Where did you get that confidence? Feng Wu smiled again. Fifth senior brother, please don't pretend. Sixth senior brother has told me everything. Master Ling Hu stared at Feng Wu in bewilderment. Feng Wu chuckled. My sixth senior brother said that you were my fifth senior brother, the one who used to treat me very well. Master Ling Hu rubbed Feng Wu's head. Kiddo, do you remember something? Feng Wu shook her head. Actually, I don't remember what happened in the past. I only heard about it from you, little Phoenix and sixth brother. Master Ling Hu nodded. If you can't remember it, don't think about it. It'll show up when you need it. Feng Wu nodded obediently. Master Ling Hu sat down in front of Feng Wu. Seeing how obedient she was, he was amused. Don't you have anything to ask? Feng Wu moved closer and asked curiously. Senior brother, what's going on with the Empire of Dian? And what's the status of the Yin Prince's residence? What's the average level of their forces over there? Feng Wu had a lot of questions to ask, but Master Ling Hu wasn't going to tell her. He said, if I tell you everything, you'll only hear it in passing. It's best if you can experience it yourself. Only then will you consolidate your cultivation and make a breakthrough. Feng Wu pouted. Her fifth senior brother wasn't as easy to talk to as her sixth senior brother. If he were Patriarch Hu Yin, he would tell her everything if she gave him the lost puppy look. Seeing the aggrieved look on Feng Wu's face, Master Ling Hu couldn't bring himself to see her like this. She was his only junior sister, and she was the apple of his eye. At that thought, Master Ling Hu patted Feng Wu on the head and said grumpily, the Dian Empire is indeed a superior state to the Junwu Empire, which is a vassal state. We'll have to start from our master. Feng Wu was astonished when Master Ling Hu told her about the origin of the continent. Is that so? Our master was that capable? Build a continent with his bare hands? I can't believe it. Why was this continent called Jiuzhou Continent? Because Mu Jiuzhou had created this continent himself. He had created this continent. Mu Jiuzhou was a member of the royal family of the Dian Empire and a high-ranking official. According to Master Ling Hu, Mu Jiuzhou used to inherit the throne of the empire, but he abdicated shortly afterward and gave it to his nephew, while he built the continent himself. That was why the continent was named after Mu Jiuzhou. After Mu Jiuzhou died, the continent fell apart. The 9 provinces were divided into 9 kingdoms, which were what they were now. The Junwu Empire used to be the Junwu province. Seeing how surprised Feng Wu was, Master Linghu said, "Master is unprecedentedly powerful, but we don't know why he didn't become the emperor back then and why he built a continent." All of a sudden, Master Linghu stared at Feng Wu. "Our master is still alive, isn't he?" Feng Wu nodded. Master Linghu said, "As long as my master is alive." Feng Wu said, "But master can't come out right now." Master Linghu waved his hand. "I know. It won't be that easy for someone as capable as him to change his fate. He'll come out one day." Feng Wu nodded solemnly. "That's right. He'll come out one day." Master Linghu looked at Feng Wu and said, "Since the Dian Empire is here, this battle is bound to happen." Feng Wu asked, "Are you saying that Dian will target the Junwu Empire?" Master Linghu nodded. "Yes." Feng Wu said, "Dian is so powerful that the Junwu Empire is nothing compared to it." Master Linghu nodded. Feng Wu asked, "Is there no other way?" Master Linghu stared at Feng Wu. "There's one." Feng Wu asked, "What?" Master Linghu said, In June Lin Yuan die, your soul will be destroyed, and you'll never be able to reincarnate." Feng Wu was astonished. Master Linghu said, "That's not all. The same thing will happen to my master's disciples, as well as my master himself. They'll never be able to reincarnate. If that's the case, I don't think Dian will attack the Junwu Empire." Feng Wu clenched her fists in frustration. "How can this happen? How?" Master Linghu sighed, rubbed Feng Wu's head, and said in a serious tone, "Junior sister, your senior brothers can withstand it for a year or 2, but if the Empire sends all its capable cultivators in, we may not be able to withstand it either. The only option is, my master has to come back." Master Linghu stared at Feng Wu and stressed each word. "Only my master can solve this crisis. Remember that?" An idea struck Feng Wu all of a sudden. "So, 6 brothers said that an enemy was secretly searching for my master and my senior brothers. That's why my senior brothers are often elusive?" Master Linghu nodded. Feng Wu said, "That's why my 6th senior brother told me not to tell anyone about our relationship. The enemy is too powerful. I thought that with how capable my senior brothers are, I wouldn't be afraid of anyone. But now that I think about it, the enemy is from the Dian Empire." Master Linghu nodded again. "You're smart." Feng Wu smiled bitterly. "Is the Dian Empire that invincible?" Master Linghu said, "Junior sister, please don't worry. The Empire of Dian is indeed a formidable force because there are so many capable cultivators. In terms of spiritual saints alone, they have 10 times more than our continent." Feng Wu said, 10 times. Master Linghu said, "But it's only 10 times. They're much more powerful than us, but it's still within reach. All the capable cultivators of our continent have been making rapid progress in the past few years. I think in another 10 years, they'll only be 8 times better than us." 10 years, 8 times. Feng Wu thought to herself, that's just a drop in the bucket. Luckily, the Dian Empire wasn't that powerful. Otherwise, Feng Wu wouldn't know what to do. Before she knew it, Feng Wu had blurted it out. Master Linghu smiled. "No, it's not like that. After all, cultivation progresses step by step. Moreover, people can grow old and die, and there's no such thing as immortality. Therefore, people of the Empire of Dian will die when they reach old age. The old ones can't survive forever. When the capable ones die, new ones take their place. That's all. They may seem impressive, but it's only because they have been around for a long time." Feng Wu nodded. "We can handle them if we try hard. By the way, my mother..." At that thought, Feng Wu told Master Linghu that Princess Yanling had poisoned her mother. However, Master Linghu nodded. "I know that." Feng Wu asked, "What? You know about that?" Master Linghu glanced at Feng Wu and said something that shocked her. "Our master told me to guard you in the Imperial capital. Of course, I know what happened to you." Feng Wu didn't know what to say. It was her master. Her beautiful master had told her 5th senior brother to protect her. Feng Wu didn't know how to react. Master Ling Hu said, "Your mother's poison." Feng Wu took a bottle out of her chest pocket and handed it to Master Ling Hu. "This is the bottle I took from Princess Yin Ling when I fought her. Please have a look." Feng Wu and Master Ling Hu examined it together. Soon, they exchanged looks and said in unison, "We're still short of one ingredient." Feng Wu nodded. "That's right. Although it's the right medicine, the toxin has been in my mother's system for a long time. This can neutralize the toxin, but she's too weak to withstand it. Therefore, we have to add the Dragonstone plant." Master Ling Hu said, "The Junwu Empire doesn't have it." Feng Wu asked, "Where can I find it then?" Master Ling Hu looked at Feng Wu and said, "The royal palace of the Dongseng Kingdom has it." Master Ling Hu couldn't leave the Junwu Empire or even the Imperial capital. "I'll go." Feng Wu clenched her fists. "I was going to the Dongseng Kingdom to find my third senior brother anyway, and I'm going to take that plant while I'm at it. There's no time to waste. I'm leaving now." After that, Feng Wu turned to leave. "Wait." Master Ling Hu stopped Feng Wu. Feng Wu looked at him in bewilderment. Master Ling Hu handed Feng Wu a metal ball. "Take it." Feng Wu asked, "What's that?" Master Ling Hu said, "It's a guilt rummy. Keep it well. It'll work correct one white W in the arm." Holding the ball the size of a pigeon egg, Feng Wu looked at Master Ling Hu in bewilderment. Master Ling Hu smiled. "Smear your blood on it, and it'll be yours." Chapter 3962. Chapter 3962, Dangerous Battlefield. Chapter 3962, Dangerous Battlefield. Feng Wu was surprised. Most of the time, only a divine weapon required blood. It was at least a semi-divine weapon. Feng Wu looked up at Master Ling Hu in astonishment. "Fifth senior brother." Master Ling Hu rubbed her head. "Do as you're told." "All right." Expectedly, Feng Wu dripped blood on the ball. Soon, it popped open, and a suit of armor floated in midair. It was covered with scales and filled with fighting spirit. A semi-divine weapon. Feng Wu was pleasantly surprised. Master Ling Hu said, "It used to be a divine weapon, but because you're still a little weak, if you put on a divine weapon, peak spiritual saints will try to take it away. Therefore, I've suppressed it to a semi-divine weapon. One day, when you're strong enough, you can upgrade it to a divine weapon." Master Ling Hu looked at his junior sister in amazement. Apart from cultivation, each of her 6 senior brothers was only good at one subject. Huyin specialized in both cultivation and weapon refinement. Their third senior brother was a cultivator and a swordsman. He, on the other hand, specialized in cultivation and formations. But Feng Wu was the only exception. Their master had taught her everything, and she just happened to be very smart. No matter what her master taught her, she could master it as soon as she was taught. Once she mastered it, she would be able to draw inferences from it and innovate. The girl was amazing. "It's called the Qilin armor," said Master Ling Hu. "It's returned to its rightful owner, but don't wear it unless you have no other choice. Although I've changed its appearance, old people may still recognize it." Feng Wu nodded. After bidding Master Ling Hu farewell, Feng Wu entered the Imperial Palace with the Qilin armor. Emperor Wu was sitting in the study with a long face when Feng Wu saw him. "Xiao Wu." Emperor Wu was elated to see Feng Wu. He rose to his feet and went to greet her. "Your Majesty." Feng Wu greeted him. Emperor Wu waved his hand. "Why are you doing this? Get up." Emperor Wu wanted to talk to Feng Wu, so he led her to a table and sat her down. Other people wouldn't have a place to sit if they came here to see Emperor Wu. They could just stand there. Emperor Wu had set up the table for Feng Wu and Jun Lin Yuan. "How's your injury? Is it serious? Did Master Ling Hu tell you anything?" Feng Wu hadn't woken up that day, and the Imperial physicians couldn't do much, so Emperor Wu went to Master Ling Hu himself. Master Ling Hu was indeed here, but he took Feng Wu to the wandering temple straight away. Feng Wu then told him what Master Ling Hu had told her about the Dian Empire. I see. Emperor Wu looked anxious. "The Dian Empire has set their eyes on Junwu. They want Master Ling Hu dead, as well as the Crown Prince, you, and all the talented people. Emperor Wu smiled bitterly and rubbed his face. Actually, I know that all along. I knew it. The Empire of Dian is too overbearing and unreasonable for its own good. They're used to being the ruler, and of course, they don't want other forces to rise. The Junwu Empire has Junjun, Yu, and Master Linghu. Of course, the Dian Empire doesn't like that. What centennial tribute? They're just exploiting us over and over again. Feng Wu was confused. Over and over again. That's right. Emperor Wu said solemnly. The Dian Empire comes here every 100 years and chooses a country to take away the most capable cultivators. They do it one at a time. Therefore, the continent of Jiuzhou has been neither strong nor weak for the past 1,000 years. If the talented people hadn't been taken away, we might have been as powerful as the Dian Empire now. This time, they've chosen the Junwu Empire. Feng Wu said solemnly, they've gone too far. Emperor Wu sat on the ground and said bitterly, not only are we being targeted by the Empire of Dian, but there are other 8 kingdoms as well. Emperor Wu stared at Feng Wu and stressed each word. The Dian Empire will never do it themselves. They'll support the proxy state so that it can fight for them. As for the rest of the kingdoms, they can either sit by and watch, or join the other kingdoms and work together against the Junwu Empire. At that thought, Emperor Wu frowned. Things were getting out of hand for the Junwu Empire. Feng Wu immediately said, don't worry. I can't say about other countries, but at least the Northern Yin Kingdom won't be our enemy. She didn't waste the past 3 months. She had found her 6th senior brother and made a reliable ally for the Junwu Empire. Emperor Wu was confused. Why? Of course, Feng Wu couldn't say that the pillar of the Northern Yin Kingdom was her 6th senior brother, but she said affirmatively, don't worry. If you need an ally letter, I'll go get it. Seeing how confident Feng Wu was, Emperor Wu couldn't help but relax a little. If we can form an alliance, then when we take care of the Empire of Dian, Feng Wu said indifferently. Master Linghu said that even if the continent of Jiuzhou can form an alliance, will only be 1/10 of the strength of the Dian Empire. Moreover, they still had the Dongseng Kingdom to fight. Recalling her purpose here, Feng Wu told Emperor Wu, Your Majesty, I need to go to the Dongseng Kingdom. No, Emperor Wu refused. Nonsense. Don't you know that the Dongseng Kingdom is fighting us in the Peace Grassland? They'll catch you and skin you alive if you go there. No, you can't go. Feng Wu only smiled at him. She was here to take her leave, not to hear Emperor Wu's opinion. Emperor Wu probably knew how grumpy Feng Wu could be. Seeing her gentle smile, he knew that he wouldn't be able to persuade her. Emperor Wu said in resignation, Where are you going? I'll send someone to escort you. Green Emperor City. It was the capital of the Dongseng Kingdom. Emperor Wu stopped abruptly. You're going to Green Emperor City? Why? Do you have any idea how dangerous it is? Emperor Wu bellowed at Feng Wu. Do you have a death wish? The last time when Feng Wu almost died, Emperor Wu was already scared out of his wits. Now, that Feng Wu was trying to scare him like this, he was furious. Feng Wu smiled. I'll go to the Dongseng Kingdom and ask for an alliance letter. How about we form an alliance with them? Otherwise, we won't be able to defeat the Dian Empire. An alliance will give us a chance. Although it was only a very slim chance. Emperor Wu stared at Feng Wu instead. What are you talking about? Of course, I know the benefits of forming an alliance. If I can do that, of course it'll be great. Is that possible? Can I? We've been enemies with the Dongseng Kingdom for generations, and we want to kill each other as soon as we meet. Plus, do you think the people of the Dian Empire are idiots? Princess Yinling is very smart. If I'm guessing right, they've chosen the Dongseng Kingdom as their proxy this time. Many of the ancient technologies of the Dongseng Kingdom were given by the Dian Empire when they had more advanced versions. But look, all their outdated technologies are so powerful. This time, the more Emperor Wu said, the more pained he became. Looking at Emperor Wu, Feng Wu suddenly walked up to the desk and started writing. What are you writing? Emperor Wu asked. It's a promise, said Feng Wu. I have to get that letter from the Dongseng Kingdom. Nonsense. Emperor Wu threw a dirty look at Feng Wu and poked her in the head. Wake up, kiddo. Stop daydreaming. If you can get the letter of alliance from the Dongsang Kingdom, I'll make you the emperor. Feng Wu asked. Are you sure? Emperor Wu said. Of course. Feng Wu said fine. Sign it. Emperor Wu asked what? Feng Wu quickly wrote down a bet and handed it to Emperor Wu. If I can get an agreement from the Dongsang Kingdom, you'll owe me the throne. I can take it whenever I want. Will you sign it? Emperor Wu said, so be it. You won't get that letter. Seeing that Emperor Wu had signed the agreement, Feng Wu carefully put it away and hid it in her ring space so that it wouldn't get wet. Feng Wu was worried about one thing, but with the bet, she didn't have to worry about what would happen next. What Emperor Wu didn't know was that Feng Wu was so smart that she had set him up in such a short time. If he knew what she did, he would be furious. After bidding Emperor Wu farewell, Feng Wu hurried back to the Feng clan. Time was of the essence here, so Feng Wu didn't linger in the Feng manor. She immediately set out for the Peace Grassland. The shortest route to the Dongsang Kingdom was through the Peace Grassland. Moreover, Feng Wu could enter the Peace Grassland through the portal. Feng Wu had at least 3 plans for the Dongsang Kingdom this time. The second one was the Letter of Alliance, which involved Emperor Wu's throne. The third was her third senior brother and the third broken star piece. Taking a deep breath, Feng Wu stepped into the portal. Before long, she arrived with a ding. The Peace Grassland was right outside the portal. As soon as Feng Wu left the Peace Grassland, she heard panicked shouts a short distance away. Dodge! Dodge! Get into the cover. Don't go inside. Get out. Now. They're going to bomb us. Everyone get out. Find cover and split up. Feng Wu paled when she heard the hasty voices. Feng Wu recognized that voice. If she remembered it correctly, it was Ying Yuan. Feng Wu had been on his team before, so she could recognize his voice. Feng Wu rushed over and grabbed Ying Yuan. Caught off guard, Ying Yuan was caught by Feng Wu, and he cried out, Who are you? You. Ah, Feng Wu. Chapter 3963. Chapter 3963. The Defense Battle 1. Chapter 3963. The Defense Battle 1. Feng Wu nodded calmly. Yes, it's me. Report to me now. What happened? Ying Yuan shook his head. We don't have much time. To cut it short, the Sun Castle is going to attack us. They made a small attack before, but it's a large one now. Everyone move out. Feng Wu frowned. Didn't we take Sun Castle? Didn't Night Owl run back to Green Emperor City? Why is he here? Ying Yuan smiled bitterly. That's right. They've taken Sun Castle again. For some unknown reason, they've gained a lot of capable cultivators this time, and the technology of ancient times has been greatly enhanced. Didn't you invent the flying fighter jet? We put it into use as well, and we were evenly matched. But for some unknown reason, their technology of the ancient times has skyrocketed. Ying Yuan said anxiously, We can't hold them off much longer. Where are the others? Where's the general? Where are the elders? Ying Yuan shook his head. They went to another battlefield. Before he could finish, they heard a rumbling sound ahead of them. Instantly, there was an explosion, and flames filled the air. A building a short distance ahead of Feng Wu was blown to pieces. This is only the first wave. Ying Yuan's eyes were bloodshot red as he gritted his teeth. This is only the first wave. Look, the densely packed fighter jets are coming our way. Feng Wu followed Ying Yuan's gaze and saw it. The densely packed dots really were fighter jets. Just then, Feng Wu saw a group of people running in her direction, and she recognized their leader. It was Senior Sister Lan. Senior Sister Lan, who used to be a level 3 spiritual king, was a level 4 spiritual king now. She was followed by a group of people. They were running in Feng Wu's direction dash. Out of my way! Out of my way! Senior Sister Lan shouted at Ying Yuan. However, Ying Yuan frowned and said to Feng Wu, We can't let them in. Even if we have to die, we have to stay here. No one is allowed to enter the portal, let alone retreat into the Empire. If we retreat, we'll lose Nest, and the Dongsang Kingdom will march right in and reach our empire. If it comes to the worst. Ying Yuan stared at Feng Wu. Let's destroy the portal together. Feng Wu frowned, but didn't answer Ying Yuan right away. Seeing that Feng Wu was hesitating, Ying Yuan said loudly, if they enter through the portal, they'll reach the Imperial capital directly. The Junwu Empire will be wiped out when the soldiers arrive. Therefore, we have to cut off the portal here and force them to enter from northern border city. That's the only way to stall them. Do you understand? We were training our soldiers when you were here before, so we played with the Dongsang Kingdom. But now, it's a real battlefield, and it's about life and death. Ying Yuan took a deep breath. Feng Wu, will you guard the portal with me? Before Feng Wu could say anything, Senior Sister Lan arrived with a team of people. There were at least 100 of them. These people were about the same level as Senior Sister Lan, and the weaker ones were sent by the Imperial College and Military Academy to guard the Peace Grassland. Chapter 3964. Chapter 3964. The Defense Battle 2. Chapter 3964. The Defense Battle 2. What are you doing? Ying Yuan stared at them. Senior Sister Lan said aggressively, let us through the portal. Out of my way. Ying Yuan stepped out. The portal will never open. If you insist on going in, you'll have to walk over my dead body. Senior Sister Lan said, Ying Yuan, are you serious? Ying Yuan stood there unmoved. Senior Sister Lan smirked. Fine, fine. If you insist, don't blame us for being merciless. After that, Senior Sister Lan turned around and told the others, since Ying Yuan has blocked our way and told us to wait for the explosion, we'll jump over him. Many people around her hesitated. Ying Yuan said angrily, Lan Wumei, you're running away from the battlefield. That's punishable by death. Senior Sister Lan smirked. If you want us to be killed by the fighter jets of the Dongsang Kingdom, we'll have to fight for our lives. As she spoke, Senior Sister Lan drew out a long saber from behind her back and struck down at Ying Yuan. Those behind her who had been hesitating stirred as well. The battle could start at any moment. At that critical moment, someone grabbed Senior Sister Lan's sword. Feng Wu had been standing behind Ying Yuan the whole time, and Ying Yuan had caught Lan Wumei's attention just then, so neither she nor the others behind her noticed Feng Wu. Until Feng Wii, a familiar voice called Feng Wu's name. Feng Wu looked up and saw a teenage girl standing a few steps behind Lan Wumei. She looked rather familiar, and Feng Wu seemed to have dealt with the girl before. Right? It was Shan Jingfei, who had given Feng Wu a hard time in Imperial College before coming to the Peace Grassland. Shan Jingfei walked up to Feng Wu with a frown. Why are you back? Who are you to stop us? Do you know how capable Senior Sister Lan is? How dare you stop her? Lan Wumei recognized Feng Wu as well. She and Feng Wu had never been on friendly terms. The so-called feud was actually a one-sided one. Feng Wu had never had the energy to care about such petty things. It's you. Lan Wumei frowned and stared at Feng Wu. Why are you here? Glancing behind Feng Wu, she saw that apart from Ying Yuan and a few of his friends, Feng Wu didn't have anyone else to help her. At that thought, Lan Wumei was elated. Feng Wu was the person she hated the most, and now that Feng Wu had no one to help her, not to mention the chaos. Instead of telling Feng Wu to get out of the way, she struck down at Feng Wu's face. However, Feng Wu caught the blade between her fingers. Lan Wumei was furious. Feng Wu, one of us is going to die today. After that, she gave up on the sword, drew a dagger out of her sleeve, and struck down at Feng Wu's throat. Watch out! Ying Yuan was alarmed. Shan Jingfei smirked. Feng Wu, since you're all by yourself today, brothers and sisters, with her around, we won't be able to enter the portal today. If we can't, we're going to die here. So, everyone, let's kill her together. While Lan Wumei was attacking Feng Wu, Shan Jingfei began to incite the people behind her. They were all hot-blooded young men, and Shan Jingfei's words had driven them crazy. They attacked Feng Wu one after another. Chapter 3965. Chapter 3965. The Defense Battle 3. Chapter 3965. The Defense Battle 3. Feng Wu was furious. She had never been so angry before. It was time to defend the Empire. Not only had they abandoned their teammates and fled, but they had also tried to kill the guards. How abominable. Holding his sword, Ying Yuan said angrily, "You all deserve to die." After that, he was going to charge at those people. He didn't have any confidence in winning this battle, because there were only 10 of them, and Lan Wumei was leading hundreds of people. They were all level I and level G spiritual kings. So Ying Yuan was bound to lose and die. However, before he could do anything, something unexpected happened. Thump, thump, thump. One by one, those fell to the ground. They fell to the ground like dominoes. There were over 100 of them, but they were all defeated in a matter of seconds. Ying Yuan stared at Feng Wu, who was moving through the crowd, in disbelief. Looking from the crowd to Feng Wu, Ying Yuan opened his mouth, but couldn't utter a coherent sentence. Lan Wumei and the others were all dumbfounded. They weren't dead, but their knees had been shattered, and they would never be able to walk again. You. Lan Wumei stared at Feng Wu and didn't know what to say. Her heart was pounding, and she was so nervous that she didn't dare to breathe. That was so terrifying. How could something so terrifying happen? She thought she knew Feng Wu's cultivation level and believed that Feng Wu had made rapid progress through unorthodox means. She didn't think Feng Wu was much better than the rest of them. But what she did just then was so terrifying. In Lan Wumei's mind, Feng Wu was as capable as Elder Dongfang. Feng Wu stared at them with cold eyes and stressed each word. "I don't have time for this now. You can come back for your death after this is over." Death. She said they were going to die. Lan Wumei and the others were so frightened that they couldn't utter a word. Just then, Lan Wumei noticed fighter jets coming their way, and she grinned maliciously. Even Feng Wu wouldn't be able to withstand the explosion. "Let's all die together." Ha ha ha. Lan Wuji guffawed. Feng Wu followed her gaze and saw a team of fighter jets coming their way. It was obvious that their target was the portal. Feng Wu frowned a little. They were asking for it. Feng Wu took out the arm of discipline on her back and put it on. Senior Sister Lan and the others looked at Feng Wu in bewilderment. They didn't understand why Feng Wu would take out her arm when the fighter jets were here. It wasn't a close-range battle, and her arm wouldn't work either. They weren't the only ones who thought that way. The people in the fighter jets thought the same. There were 12 jets, and they were all capable cultivators. Seeing the group of people, the team leader gave the order to attack everyone on the ground. Everyone. That was to say, they could fire at will and eliminate all the targets. However, as soon as the captain gave the order, the girl in red made her move. Chapter 3966. Chapter 3966. No one is leaving one. Chapter 3966. No one is leaving one. However, as soon as the captain gave the order, the girl in red made her move. She raised her arm of discipline. A long barrel suddenly appeared at the end of the arm. Thump! A black dot shot out like an arrow. It was so fast that it cut through the wind. When the black dot hit the fighter jet, there was a loud bang, and flames filled the air. Everyone was dumbfounded. They watched this in disbelief. The fighter jet flying at the front was surrounded by flames and was burning as they watched. The people on the fighter jet didn't even have time to jump out. "It's just a little thing. How can it be so?" Ying Yuan opened his mouth, but realized that he couldn't utter a word. Ying Yuan wasn't the only one who was shocked. Everyone was staring at Feng Wu as if she was a demon. Feng Wu took aim at the second fighter jet. Although it was only a small black pellet, it was a high-explosive compressed powder shell that Feng Wu had developed with Patriarch Hu Yin when they were in the northern Yin Kingdom. The high-energy spiritual essence had been compressed in the pellet. If it was shot out, the explosion would burn up enough energy to destroy a small team. It was the same with the second-generation fighter jets. Thump! Feng Wu fired another high-explosive compressed powder ball. Poof! There came a loud sound. The second fighter jet exploded as well. Shit! The trembling people on the ground were all excited. As for the fighter jet, the people on the fighter jets drew in their breaths. On the third fighter jet, there was only one pilot in each fighter jet, and they were all under the command of the team leader. It had never occurred to them that Feng Wu could do such a thing, so the team leader was flying at the rear, and he was the first to die. Now that the captain was dead, the deputy should be in charge. However, if the captain of the team was running at the front, the deputy was naturally flying next to him. Then, the deputy died as well. All hell broke loose. The pilots on the fighter jets could communicate with each other through the communication channel. Guys, what should we do now? Should we charge or not? The third in command was uneasy. Let's go. Of course. We'll avenge the captain and the deputy. No, I don't know what kind of ancient technology they have. We have to go back and report it to the higher-ups. We can't finish the task for the time being. Let's go back now. No, we can't let them die for nothing. We have to avenge them. No, we have to retreat. They couldn't reach an agreement, and everyone had their own opinion. That was the bad thing about not having a leader. Feng Wu smirked. She was going to shoot each fighter jet in turn, but the fighter jet at the end of the line, the one furthest away from her, had changed its direction. You want to leave? Feng Wu smirked and raised her arm. Chapter 3967. Chapter 3967. No one is leaving too. Chapter 3967. No one is leaving too. Remote fire. There was a loud thump. The high explosive compressed powder exploded. The rearmost fighter jet was hit, and flames erupted, creating a glow brighter than fireworks. Ying Yuan and the others clenched their fists in excitement. However, the fighter jets in midair began to panic. Should they fight or not? Shoot her! A voice came from the third jet. However, only a handful of fighter jets stopped, and most of them had already fled. The three remaining fighter jets. Feng Wu smirked. Thump, thump, thump. Feng Wu fired 3 high-explosive compressed powder shells in a row. She wasn't familiar with the controls at first, but after 2 shots, she was able to shoot fast and accurately. She turned the 3 fighter jets into flames before they could do anything. The pilots who had fled turned around and saw what was going on. They were terrified. If they had chosen to stay, they would have been turned to ash as well. At that thought, they picked up their speed. Feng Wu said, "Guard the portal, and don't let anyone in." Ying Yuan nodded repeatedly. Yes. He looked at Feng Wu with sparkling eyes that were filled with excitement and admiration. And them. Watch them closely. Feng Wu looked around at the people lying on the ground. She meant Lan Wumei and the others. Ying Yuan nodded solemnly. Don't worry. I'll keep an eye on them and deal with them when you get back. Lan Wumei and the others wanted to cry, but no tears would come. Minnie gave senior sister Lan reproachful looks, and she said angrily, "Didn't you say that Nest would be destroyed and we would all die? Didn't you want to run back to the Imperial capital? Why are you blaming me now?" Naturally, the others wouldn't let Lan Wumei talk her way out of it, so they started criticizing her. Lan Wumei said angrily, "She's only shot a few fighter jets. How can she change the situation? It's a one-sided war now, and we're bound to lose." Many people couldn't retort her. They had all come from the front line, so they knew how dangerous it was. Feng Wu ran after the fighter jets, while they flew as fast as they could. If anyone else had seen it, they would have been shocked, for they had only seen fighter jets chasing people, not the other way around. Run! The pilots in the communication channel broke into a cold sweat. They wished they could have 10 more wings. Just then, there was a loud bang. They turned around and saw what was going on. Another fighter jet exploded in midair. That was it. They had lost another fighter jet. There were only 3 of them left. Hang on. Almost there. Thump, thump, arg. I surrender. I surrender. Feng Wu destroyed all the small fighter jets in one go, leaving only one behind. She kept the last one because she wanted to drive it herself. She didn't have time to clean up the mess. Instead, She ran toward the front line as fast as she could. Chapter 3968. Chapter 3968. No one is leaving 3. Chapter 3968. No one is leaving 3. According to Ing Yuan, everyone was fighting fiercely on the front line. Because of the ancient technology, the Junwu Empire was inferior to the Dongsheng Kingdom, and the latter had to have taken control of the air. One could only imagine how fierce the battle would be. At that thought, Feng Wu tightened her grip on the explosive. Luckily, she had gone to Northern Yin before and met her sixth senior brother. His sixth brother was an expert in refining weapons, and Feng Wu had only been able to make a batch of highly combustible compressed gunpowder bullets with his help. I hope I brought enough this time, Feng Wu thought. Soon, Feng Wu arrived at the front line. From afar, she could see the miserable scene through the fighter jet. It was a battle between intermediate cultivators. Feng Wu didn't see the general, nor did she see any spiritual overlords or above. Mr. Liu, Mr. Su, Elder Helian, and Elder Dongfeng weren't there. However, Feng Wu spotted Feng Sun and Xian Yl, Ngnti away, and her familiar friends. Feng Wu had been assigned to the same school as them, and many of her friends were of the same level. Right now, they were all fighting. They were led by Feng Sun and Xian Yi. Helian Zhang, Ning Ichio, Senior Brother Min, Chen Ziyun, Song Yaoyang. Right now, they were in a very bad situation. There were fighter jets in the air and Dongsheng cultivators of the same level on the ground. Feng Sun had been stabbed 3 times. Xian Yi was covered in blood as well. The others were covered in blood, but they still fought with determination. Seeing this, Feng Wu felt blood rush to her head. She still didn't know where Elder Helian and the others were, but it didn't take a genius to figure out that they were fighting a difficult battle. Feng Wu was a little anxious, but she soon calmed down. Feng Wu had made some rough modifications to the fighter jet, and it was equipped with her specially made high-explosive compressed powder bullets. Shoot! Feng Wu decided that she would eliminate the fighter jets that were suppressing the Junwu Empire soldiers first. Hence, she opened fire in midair. The Dongsheng Kingdom's first fighter jet was destroyed. What? The fighter jets immediately realized that something wasn't right. But they couldn't see Feng Wu's fighter jet because Feng Wu had Little Phoenix cover her fighter plane with its stealth ability so that no one could see her. Whoosh! Feng Wu fired 7 more times. After that, Feng Wu changed direction and moved away from the spot. As expected, the area where she had been standing was covered by bombs. The Dongsheng Kingdom's fighter jets panicked. There were 200 of them in total. Losing 7 in one go wasn't good news, but it wasn't enough to shock them. However, the enemy was unpredictable, which frightened them the most. Captain, what's going on? The 200 fighter jets were divided into groups of 20, making a total of 10 teams. Right now, all the leaders of the 10 teams were questioning their captain. The captain was equally dumbfounded. While the 200 fighter jets entered the battlefield, the captain's Black One stopped a short distance away and watched the battle. But he had no idea where that attack came from. "Do you sense anything?" the captain asked his deputy. Chapter 3969. Chapter 3969. In one go. Chapter 3969. In one go. The captain was Guan Han, General Guan Qi's younger brother. His deputy was Qi Yunfeng. Qi Yunfeng frowned and shook his head. The attack seemed to have come out of nowhere. Has the enemy taken cover? However, with the ancient technology of the Junwu Empire, how could they have hidden fighter jets? Our stealth fighter jets are still here, and we haven't lost a single one. I don't think they've been stolen, said Qi Yunfeng. The last time a fighter jet was stolen, the entire Dongsheng Kingdom was furious. After that, the supervision became very strict. Guan Han thought the same. Take this stealthy fighter jet and take a detour. Be careful. Qi Yunfeng was an expert in observation and calculation, so he was perfect for the job. Yes. Qi Yunfeng entered the stealth fighter jet right away. Stealth fighter jets were very rare even in the Dongsang Kingdom, and there were only a handful of them on the front line. Feng Wu had no idea that Qi Yinfeng was looking for her. Right now, she had rushed into the circle of fighter jets and started shooting. Feng Wu knew that the fighter jets were gathering together now, but they would soon scatter, making it very difficult for her to destroy them. Therefore, whoosh, she destroyed 7 fighter jets in one go. She then turned in another direction and started another round of shooting. Even the people on the ground had noticed the change in the sky. Wait a minute. What's going on? Why did their fighter jet explode all of a sudden? Feng Sun suddenly thought of someone. Feng Wu was able to turn herself invisible and had the technology of ancient times. At that thought, he and Xian Yi exchanged looks and both saw a pleasant surprise in each other's eyes. They had arrived at the Peace Grassland before Feng Wu and had no idea what happened at the banquet the other day. They had been engaged in this frantic battle ever since they arrived at the battlefield. The upheaval in the sky had benefited the Junwu Empire greatly. Feng Sun shouted, "It's just a fighter jet. Why should we be afraid of it? We have them too. Look, our fighter jet can turn invisible. We caught them off guard. Dongsang Kingdom used to have 200 fighter jets. Look, 50 have fallen already. Ha ha ha. The invincible battle squadron? They're so weak." Feng Sun's words cheered the soldiers of the Junwu Empire up. They had been determined to fight to the death. "We'll soon regain our control in the air. Guys, let's go." Feng Sun waved his hands and gave the order. Charge! The battle had been one-sided on the ground, but with Feng Wu's intervention, things had changed. The soldiers of the Junwu Empire were filled with passion, especially students from Imperial College and Military Academy. Because they were still young, they had tied a red cloth around their foreheads, which made them look more fierce. They ran as fast as they could, ignoring their own lives. Intimidation was the most important thing in a battle. The Dongsang Kingdom might be powerful, but when the soldiers of the Junwu Empire showed no fear of death, they were terrified. They looked up involuntarily. Their fighter jets were still burning and exploding one after another. In midair, Qi Yinfeng had noticed the hidden fighter jet and gave the order. All 10 teams split up into 5 groups, covering the center and all 4 directions. Hence, the 10 groups of fighter jets no longer cared about the battle below and split up as they were told. However, each group of fighter jets suffered losses, some more than others. Once they were separated, if Feng Wu attacked another team, the other teams would soon notice her and outflank her. What Qin Yinfeng didn't know was that Feng Wu had planned everything. Seeing this, Little Phoenix asked Feng Wu, "Kiddo, what should we do now?" "They'll soon surround you no matter which group you attack." Feng Wu smiled a little. "Is that so?" Little Phoenix looked at Feng Wu in bewilderment. Feng Wu said, "If that's the case, let's attack the one in the center." Little Phoenix stared at Feng Wu. "Have you lost your mind?" Feng Wu said, "Of course not." Little Phoenix said, "But the moment you do that, those people will attack us." "That's impossible." Feng Wu chuckled. "Then why don't we take a detour around and get to that fighter jet at the center?" Little Phoenix's eyes lit up. "Are you sure you want to take the risk?" Feng Wu asked Little Phoenix, "Are you scared?" Little Phoenix immediately became competitive. "How dare you? I'm the famous Master Phoenix. Why should I be scared?" Feng Wu smiled. "All right, get the bombs ready. Let's go." Hence, Feng Wu drove the fighter jet, which had been turned invisible by Little Phoenix, and slowly arrived at the team at the center. All the fighter jets were suspending in midair. They kept an eye on their surroundings as they attacked the ground. Feng Wu's fighter jet was right above them. Boom! Hi! Explosive bombs were fired at the fighter jets. It was supposed to be bait. As soon as Feng Wu made her move, the fighter jets realized what had happened, and they scattered in all directions, trying to surround Feng Wu's stealthy fighter jet. However, Feng Wu had her reasons for doing that. While all the fighter jets were rushing out, Feng Wu moved very fast and jumped into another group. There was another round of explosions. "It's in the east." While they were shooting in the east, Feng Wu turned to the fighter jets in the south. Boom! All hell broke loose. Feng Wu was able to make herself invisible, which gave her the greatest advantage. Qi Yinfeng didn't expect that his plan would fall apart so easily. Blue veins popped on his forehead as he bellowed, "Scatter! Now!" Since the grouping approach wouldn't work, the fighter jets separated and flew on their own. At his command, the fighter jets did as they were told. Then they heard a loud bang. Qi Yunfeng's fighter jet made a loud noise before turning into a ball of fire. Qi Yunfeng was flying a stealth fighter jet. So how did he get spotted and blown up? It was a second-generation one and was much more defensive than the first generation. Had Qi Yunfeng's fighter jet really been destroyed? No, but Feng Wu had taken it. Qi Yunfeng had been knocked out and thrown into the back seat. The exploding fighter jet was the one Feng Wu had been using. Wow, a second-generation fighter jet. It's a new weapon. Feng Wu sat down in the second-generation fighter jet, looked at the device, and smiled a little. It was well hidden and powerful. Wasn't it tailor-made for Feng Wu? Feng Wu couldn't stop smiling when she looked at the first-generation fighter jets a short distance away. Everybody, let's see how lethal your own second-generation fighter jet is. After familiarizing herself with the fighter jet, Feng Wu decided to start it up and let it work for the Junwu Empire. Meanwhile, Guan Han, the captain of the fighter jet, stomped his foot. He had lost Qi Yunfeng, his most capable assistant. To his frustration, half of the 200 fighter jets were gone. Find it! Find it! We must find it! Guan Han bellowed. This time, it was his turn to give instructions. What he didn't know was, Feng Wu's target wasn't the scattered fighter jets, but Guan Han. If she could take down Guan Han, the Dongsang Kingdom's morale would plummet, and the Junwu Empire would be able to turn things around. At that thought, Feng Wu steered the second-generation fighter jet toward Guan Han at top speed. Guan Han suddenly sensed something and stared into the distance. There was movement. A stealth fighter jet. Guan Han's guards were astonished. Wasn't Qi Yunfeng's second-generation fighter jet destroyed? Why was it coming this way? And why was the captain the target? The guard grabbed Guan Han and dodged to one side. Thump, thump, thump. Many fighter jets were attacking the second-generation stealth fighter jet. However, what they didn't know was that Feng Wu was no longer in the stealth fighter jet. After setting it to autopilot and pointing it in Guan Han's direction, she disappeared into the air. Qi Yunfeng saw everything. Yes, Qi Yunfeng wasn't dead. Feng Wu had sealed his acupoints and thrown him in the back seat. Seeing what Feng Wu was doing, Qi Yunfeng mumbled. Sweat covered his forehead, but he couldn't make a coherent sentence, nor could he warn Guan Han. That was to say, it had been exposed. What Guan Han saw was, sitting in the driver's seat, Qi Yunfeng drove the fighter jet toward him. Qi Yunfeng, you're not dead. Qi Yunfeng, are you nuts? Qi Yunfeng, stop. Chapter 3970. Chapter 3970. The Spiritual Overlord Battle. Chapter 3970. The Spiritual Overlord Battle. Guan Han shouted at Qi Yunfeng, but the latter didn't stop. Qi Yunfeng wanted to stop more than anyone else, but he couldn't even move a finger. Out of the way. Everyone out of his way. Guan Han bellowed. No, if it's a stealth fighter jet, why can we see it? What on earth? However, it was too late for him to realize that. Almost all the fighter jets had been attracted by the noise, and Guan Han was still very close to Qi Yunfeng's jet. Feng Wu counted. 3, 2, 1. On the count of 1, she aimed her arm at Qi Yunfeng's fighter jet and started shooting. Feng Wu had made preparations for this fighter jet, and she had piled up hundreds of high-explosive bombs inside. And there was a giant keg of dynamite. Therefore, when the fighter jet was set on fire, boom, the sky exploded into flames. The explosion went on and on. Countless fighter jets were set on fire and exploded. Guan Han thought he was going to lose his mind. However, before he could react, a hand pulled him away. He was able to stay out of the fire. Guan Han thought it was his guard, because at that critical moment, only the guards would be the first to react and save him. Guan Han suddenly saw that his guards were being blown to pieces. So, who had dragged him away? Guan Han turned around abruptly, and his pupils contracted when he saw who it was. Rumble. The explosions went on and on. None of the 100 fighter jets were able to get out. They all exploded one after another. All of them were blown up. The battle on the ground had stopped. They couldn't fight anymore because the explosion was so widespread that they all ran away. In the end, Feng Wu slowly landed on the ground with Guan Han in one hand. Xiao Wu. Feng Sun was thrilled to see Feng Wu and quickly walked up to her with Xian Yi. Feng Wu tossed Guan Han to Feng Sun. Tie up the captain of the Dongseng Kingdom's fighter jet squadron. Great! Feng Sun was elated. He then tied up Captain Guan Han and handed him to his men. Meanwhile, many people were staring at Feng Wu in astonishment. Before they could say anything, Feng Wu said, "What are you waiting for? Aren't you going to kill the enemies?" As a spiritual overlords, Feng Wu couldn't do anything. Feng Sun and Xian Yi were already spiritual overlords, so they couldn't take part in the intermediate battlefield, but the others could. Now that the Dongseng Kingdom's air power had been destroyed, they were at their weakest. As expected, Feng Wu's voice woke everyone up. Die! Feng Sun was the first to shout. Charge! Die! With Master Feng Wu here, we're not afraid at all. Let's go! Feng Wu had destroyed all 200 fighter jets with a single strike. That wasn't just a rumor, but something that had happened right under everyone's noses. The shocking news greatly motivated the Junwu Empire, but also greatly demoralized the Dongseng Kingdom. Therefore, when the Junwu Empire charged at them, the soldiers of the Dongseng Kingdom fell back. In the end, they all fled. Their leader this time was young General Jinj. The Dongseng army was being chased. Jinj turned around and glared at Feng Wu. The look in his eyes reminded one of venomous snake. Young General Run. Sure Haoqing, Jinj's deputy, grabbed him and quickly led him away from the battlefield. Thousands of people had been sent here to kill all the school-level cultivators of the Junwu Empire, but things had turned around, and they were still chasing the soldiers of the Dongseng Kingdom. Jinj was furious. Sure Haoqing pushed him forward. Young General, where there's life, there's hope. Let's go. In the end, they left with a few hundred people. Don't chase them. Only then did Feng Sun stop his people. They were so excited that they almost collapsed on the ground when they stopped. What a crazy day. Everyone turned around and stared at Feng Wu in bewilderment. Among them were Feng Wu's friends, such as Helian Zhang, Ning Ichio, senior brother Min, Song Yao, Yang Wan, and so on, and Yin Han, who didn't like Feng Wu before. Everyone stared at her in astonishment and disbelief. But no one dared to talk to Feng Wu. It was as if she was a god that was on a completely different level from them. It took Yang Wan a while to realize who it was. You really are Feng Wu, aren't you? The others all stared at Feng Wu. Yin Han also stared at Feng Wu and clenched her fists. Feng Wu rolled her eyes at Yang Wan. What do you mean by that? If I'm not Feng Wu, am I Yang Wu? Yang Wan chuckled. That smile immediately dispelled most of the estrangement between them because of their cultivation levels. You're amazing. How did you become so capable? You weren't like this the last time I saw you. Yang Wan had been on Feng Wu's team before and had been taken care of by Feng Wu, so Feng Wu had left a good impression on Yang Wan. Once Yang Wan started, the others moved closer to talk to Feng Wu as well. You destroyed 200 fighter jets all by yourself, and you've taken the captain of the enemy's fighter jet alive. Everyone was astonished. Just then, Feng Wu's eyebrows twitched, for she sensed a formidable power exploding in the distance and spreading out in all directions. Although it was a little far away, Feng Wu could still sense it. Over there, Feng Wu looked in that direction. What? Feng Sun smacked his forehead. How could I have forgotten about such an important thing? The spiritual overlords are fighting over there. Spiritual overlords? That was to say, Elder Dongfang and the others were over there. Feng Wu said, "Stay here. I'll go have a look." Feng Wu left before she could finish her sentence. The next second, she was out of sight. Hey, wait for me. After instructing Hellion Zhang to guard the area, Feng Sun quickly followed Feng Wu. Xian Yi went with him. Yin Han suddenly asked, "What level is Feng Wu now?" Everyone's stomach lurched. That was right. What level was Feng Wu now? She had single-handedly destroyed 200 fighter jets. Exactly how capable was she? Hellion Zhang shook his head. I don't know. She's at least a spiritual overlord. The others nodded as well. She had to be a spiritual overlord. I think even if she's a spiritual overlord, she's only a junior one. She can't be more than a level 3 spiritual overlord, said Yin Han. She didn't want to admit how capable Feng Wu was because she considered Feng Wu to be her enemy. If Feng Wu was really that capable, it would make her look like a failure. However, Guan Han smirked. A level 3 spiritual overlord? I'm a level 7 spiritual overlord, and she could pick me up so easily. Yin Han, where are you going? Hellion Zhang stopped her when he saw that she was leaving. Yin Han said, I'll go help them. Stop right there. Come back. However, no matter how loudly Hellion Zhang yelled, Yin Han wouldn't stop. She ran as fast as a rabbit. Hellion Zhang knew that the girl from Grand Secretary Yan's family was a troublemaker. That was the battlefield of the spiritual overlords. What is she doing there? Keep an eye on him. I'll be right back. Hunan Lenong ran Arderna. By the time Yin Han and Hellion Zhang arrived, Feng Wu had joined the battle. Hellion Zhang and Yin Han were on a slope, but the battlefield was in the valley. The sound of fighting went on in the valley. There were at least 50 spiritual overlords in the Junwu Empire, and the two schools had given all they could. The Dongseng Kingdom had also sent 60 spiritual overlords. The situation was very dire. It was obvious that the Junwu Empire was losing ground. Zhang, what should we do? They're losing ground, and my grandpa is in danger. Yin Han's eyes were filled with tears. Hellion Zhang wanted to join the fight as well, but he was too weak. He hadn't become a spiritual overlord yet, and he would be annihilated before he could join the fight. Despite his anxiety, he still tried to comfort Yin Han. Don't worry, we're going to win. As a matter of fact, the Junwu Empire was at a disadvantage when Feng Wu arrived. Things only improved a little after Feng Wu joined the battle. Feng Wu has joined the battle. Yin Han gritted her teeth. She's so weak. I don't think she'll survive this. Yin Han didn't know if she wanted Feng Wu dead or not. I think it'll be a pity if she's dead, said Yin Han. Hellion Zhang said, No, she's not going to die. She's very capable. You've seen how capable she is. I'm sure she won't. Gosh, what's Feng Wu doing? She's heading for my grandfather. Seeing that Feng Wu was moving toward Elder Yin, Yin Han almost jumped to her feet. My grandfather is having a hard time fighting 2 spiritual overlords all by himself, and he's been stabbed several times. Why is Feng Wu still going? She has 2 spiritual overlords with her. Yin Han said angrily, I see. Feng Wu is no match for the people behind her, so she's going to lure them to my grandfather. She's trying to set him up. How could Feng Wu do that? How could she? Yin Han's eyes went bloodshot red. I hate her. However, the next second, something unbelievable happened. Elder Yin couldn't withstand 2 spiritual overlords, so he stumbled and fell to the ground. Chapter 3971. Chapter 3971. Confrontation. Chapter 3971. Confrontation. The spiritual overlords of the Dongseng Kingdom grinned maliciously. They each held a machete. One aimed at Elder Yan's neck and the other at his throat. The blades were going to fall. Yin Han screamed. Her grandfather was going to die. However, Feng Wu arrived at that critical moment. No one saw what Feng Wu did, but she moved as fast as a streak of lightning and caught the 2 spiritual overlords with both hands. Yes, she was holding a spiritual overlord in each hand. Feng Wu bumped their heads together. There was a loud thump. Their heads cracked open like 2 watermelons, and their brains were all over the ground. Feng Wu tossed the 2 bodies aside and asked Elder Yin, Are you all right? Elder Yin wasn't badly injured, but he was shocked by what Feng Wu did. You, are you really Feng Wu? Elder Yin recognized the face, but he couldn't believe his eyes. Behind you, Elder Yin didn't have time to give her more hints. Two more spiritual overlords charged at Feng Wu from behind. Elder Yin was going to help Feng Wu when Feng Wu turned around and kicked one of them to the ground. She then swiped her dagger across the air. The poor spiritual overlord's throat was cut open. Blood gushed out. His eyes widened, but he couldn't close them. A short distance away on a slope, Yin Han watched with wide-open eyes. She covered her mouth with both hands, fearing that she would scream if she didn't do something. Yin Han turned around and stared at Hellion Zheong. Is that real? Am I seeing things? Can you see it? Hellion Zheong nodded in excitement. It's true. It's true. Feng Wu. Oh God, Feng Wu. Hellion Zheong was so excited that he wanted to scream. Elder Yin was equally excited. Elder Yin was already a level 7 spiritual overlord, which made him one of the top cultivators in the Peace Grassland. However, what did he see? He watched as Feng Wu killed 4 spiritual overlords in a row. 4, and they weren't junior spiritual overlords. They were at least intermediate spiritual overlords. Elder Yin wouldn't have found it so hard to believe if Feng Wu had demonstrated such capability when he first met her. However, she was only a spiritual king when he first met her, and she wasn't even a peak spiritual king back then. Elder Yin opened his mouth twice, but still couldn't finish the sentence. That was incredible. Was she even human? After taking care of the 4 spiritual overlords, Feng Wu turned to Elder Yin, tossed him a semi-divine pill, and said, "Recuperate first. Join the fight after you're fully recovered." After that, Feng Wu quickly joined the battle with her fallen star, sword over her shoulder. Elder Yan's stomach lurched when he saw the pill. How extravagant. However, with the girl's capability, she should be using such pills. What level was the girl now? Elder Yin watched in trepidation as Feng Wu rushed into the circle, holding a sword in her left hand and a strange arm in her right. She killed a spiritual overlord with a pinch of her fingers. At first, the elders fought on their own, so they didn't pay much attention to what was going on around them. But soon, they realized that the pressure on them seemed to have been lifted. The battles had been 1-on-2 or 2-on-2, but they soon became 1-on-1. What was going on? Shouldn't the pressure be getting bigger and bigger? Why? Elder Dongfang took a look and was shocked. She saw a familiar figure flitting across the battlefield. It was none other than Feng Wu herself. Elder Dongfang grew anxious. Although she had been giving Feng Wu a hard time before, she still admired Feng Wu's medical skills from the bottom of her heart. Therefore, she shouted at Feng Wu, "Are you supposed to be here? Leave now." Elder Dongfang thought, "His Royal Highness will be furious if he hears about this." However, not only wouldn't Feng Wu leave, but she was also moving toward Elder Dongfang. Elder Dongfang grew anxious and kept giving Feng Wu warning glances, telling her to get lost. But it didn't work. The girl moved even faster. Dongfang Ziyun had a formidable enemy. She was a peak spiritual overlord now, which meant that her opponent was also a peak spiritual overlord. Between masters, the tiniest mistake could determine the winner. Elder Dongfang was at a disadvantage when she shifted her attention to Feng Wu. A blade pierced her shoulder. It went right through. Elder Dongfang's hand trembled in pain. Elder Dongfang was the leader of the spiritual overlords of the Junwu Empire. If she lost, only a handful of them would survive. Elder Dongfang grew anxious. However, the more anxious she was, the more chance her opponent had. The leader of the Dongsang Kingdom's spiritual overlords was Hua Shuebing, who was Elder Dongfang's opponent. Hua Shuebing stared at Elder Dongfang and smirked. "How dare you be careless in a battle against me? Don't blame me if you die. But do you know how many people will be incriminated if you die? I'm warning you. None of your men will be able to escape today." Hua Shuebing didn't just stand there. She struck out as soon as she spoke. Elder Dongfang knew that she wouldn't be able to withstand a strike, so he took a step back and turned to run. However, Feng Wu moved forward when Elder Dongfang was about to run away. Dongfang's Yun was about to take Feng Wu with her and throw her out of the range of the attack. She tried to grab Feng Wu, but she missed. How is that even possible? Dongfang Ziyun was dumbfounded. How? When she turned around, her heart almost jumped out of her mouth. She saw Feng Wu was within Hua Bingshue's reach. You idiot! Elder Dongfang was so frightened that she almost fainted. She saw the smirk on Hua Bingshue's face. Hua Bingshue looked at Feng Wu as if she were an ant. Elder Dongfang was sure that Hua Bingshue would severely injure Feng Wu. Even so, Elder Dongfang was still going to help Feng Wu. However, the moment she was about to move in, Feng Wu's strange arm was aimed at Hua Bingshue's neck. Elder Dongfang was amazed. That was preposterous. Who did she think she was? She couldn't possibly hit her target. Hua Bingshue was a peak spiritual overlord. However, to her surprise, Hua Bingshue stared at the girl in disbelief. But she reacted quickly and struck down Feng Wu with her sword. They brushed past each other, but Feng Wu wasn't injured. Hua Bingshue's throat, on the other hand, was bubbling with blood. Elder Dongfang was speechless. She looked at Feng Wu and Hua Bingshue as if she was looking at a fairy. Yes, Feng Wu was fighting Hua Bingshue. Dongfang Zun was about to step out to help when Feng Wu said, Elder Dongfang, please help the others. I can take care of her myself. Hua Bingshue was so angry that she laughed. How arrogant. Feng Wu asked, does it hurt? Hua Bingshue was astonished. Feng Wu taunted her. The next second, she attacked again. Right now, Feng Wu was rampaging around like a bull, but she was frighteningly capable. Thump, thump, thump. Both of them went on attacking. To Elder Dongfang's astonishment, Feng Wu and Hua Bingshue were evenly matched. Elder Dongfang almost dropped to her knees. Who was Hua Bingshue? She was the leader of the Dongseng Kingdom and the most capable cultivator at the peak of the spiritual overlord stage. However, Feng Wu, am I seeing things? Elder Dongfang rubbed her eyes. However, no matter how hard she rubbed, the image didn't disappear. Feng Wu was still fighting Hua Bingshue, and by the look of it, Feng Wu had gained the upper hand. Elder Dongfang thought she was going to lose her mind. Feng Wu rolled her eyes at her. Go help the others. Only then did Elder Dongfang realize that Feng Wu was only a junior. Why did she listen to that girl? She decided to let it drop for now. As soon as Elder Dongfang left, Feng Wu smiled at Hua Bingshue. Hua Bingshue narrowed her eyes and looked alarmed. Why are you smiling? Feng Wu said, I didn't want to scare Elder Dongfang, so I held back. Now that she's gone, I'll let you see my true capability. Hua Bingshue smirked and couldn't be bothered to talk to Feng Wu. Feng Wu smiled. You probably don't know me yet. Remember my name because that's the name of the person who's going to kill you. Hua Bingshue smirked. How arrogant. However, as soon as Hua Bingshue said those words, Feng Wu lashed out at her. Feng Wu was at the peak of the spiritual overlord stage, and she was supposed to be below the spiritual saint stage. Therefore, when she put her mind to it, even Hua Bingshue, a veteran at the peak of the spiritual saint stage, wasn't her match. She drew out her fallen star sword as well as the arm of discipline. Hua Bingshue had dodged the fallen star sword, but not the dagger hidden in the arm. The blade slid across Hua Bingshue's throat. Instantly, her artery was cut open. The blood shot 3 meters into the air. Chapter 3972. Chapter 3972. The Girl in Red 1. Chapter 3972. The Girl in Red 1. Hua Bingshue's blood shot 3 meters into the air. Covering her throat, she stared at Feng Wu, but couldn't utter a word. Just then, Feng Wu drew back her sword, glanced at her, and asked the elder, Dongfang family, do we need to take the head back with us? Elder Dongfang was fighting a level 9 spiritual overlord. The man wasn't as capable as Elder Dongfang, but Elder Dongfang wanted to finish the battle as soon as possible so that she could help Feng Wu. She was too hasty, so the man took advantage of the opportunity and cut her arm open. Feng Wu didn't know what to say. She glanced at Elder Dongfang. The next second, she moved closer and cut the level 9 spiritual overlord's head off with her fallen star sword. Elder Dongfang looked at Feng Wu. Feng Wu looked back at her. You can't even kill a level 9 spiritual overlord. Elder Dongfang said, It's not. Where's Hua Bingxue? Elder Dongfang looked behind Feng Wu and saw Hua Bingxue fall to the ground. She then looked at the level 9 spiritual overlord behind Feng Wu and fell silent. If Feng Wu had been lucky, it couldn't have been luck that helped her to kill Hua Bingxue and a level 9 spiritual overlord. Since when are you so capable? Elder Dongfang's heart was pounding. She remembered clearly that when Feng Wu left the Peace Grassland a few months ago, she wasn't even a spiritual overlord. Was she? Was she a peak spiritual king back then? But a few months later, she was already better than Elder Dongfang, who was a peak spiritual overlord. Feng Wu smiled. Shall we defeat the Dongseng kingdom first? Elder Dongfang came back to herself and said, Let's do it. Feng Wu said, Let's see who can kill the most. Before Elder Dongfang could say anything, Feng Wu charged into the battlefield. If a peak-level spiritual overlord charged into the battlefield, the other spiritual overlords would be as helpless as chickens. Before Elder Dongfang could react, Feng Wu had killed 3 people. Dongfang Ziyun rushed into the crowd as well. With the addition of the 2 peak spiritual overlords, the Junwu Empire was soon able to turn things around. In less than 5 minutes, there were only 30 Dongseng spiritual overlords left. With Hua Bingxue dead, Yang Hong, the deputy, saw what was going on. The girl in the red dress charged into the crowd and killed them one at a time. It was unbelievable. Who was she? But Yang Hong couldn't care less about that now, because the Dongseng kingdom only had 30 spiritual overlords left. He was the first to run away. Stay. Seeing that the man was running away, Feng Wu tried to stop him. Needless to say, this person had to be very influential. However, Yang Hong was prepared. He grabbed a person next to him and threw them at Feng Wu. The person he had caught was a spiritual overlord from the Junwu Empire. Feng Wu couldn't kill that spiritual overlord, so she had to catch him and put him down. When she looked up again, Yang Hong was nowhere to be found. Chapter 3973. Chapter 3973. The Girl in Red 2. Chapter 3973. The Girl in Red 2. Yang Hong ran very fast, but the spiritual overlords of the Dongseng kingdom were in trouble. When the battle ended, only 7 of them managed to escape. 7 of them got away. What a pity. Resting her hands on her waist, Feng Wu sighed. Elder Dongfang gave Feng Wu a strange look. The other elders also gave Feng Wu indescribable looks. Elder Dongfang said quietly, Don't you know? Feng Wu was confused. What? Elder Dongfang said, We were at a disadvantage before you came. 7 of us might be able to escape, and we would have been defeated because they had 10 more spiritual overlords. But you're here. Things have turned around, and they're the ones running away. The other elders all nodded. Elder Yin said, Ew. Elder Yin almost wanted to call Feng Wu naughty girl, but he soon realized that he couldn't do that anymore. She was even more capable than Elder Dongfang now. Elder Yin corrected himself right away. Master Feng Wu, why are you so capable now? The other elders asked one after another. Feng Wu smiled bitterly. I just cultivated as I usually did. While Feng Wu was talking to the elders, Helian Zhang and Yin Han looked at each other. Both of them were dumbfounded and didn't know what to say. Helian Zhang was the first to react. He told Yin Han, Let's get out of here. If the elders find out, we'll be severely punished. Yin Han stood there dazed until Helian Zhang dragged her down the slope. It took her a while to come back to herself. Do you think we're seeing things? Is it all an illusion? Yin Han looked at Helian Zhang. Helian Zhang didn't know what to say. Yin Han said, Maybe it wasn't Feng Wu. Helian Zhang looked at her in resignation. Yin Han was almost in tears. I don't believe it. I can't believe it. She was a spiritual king. They weren't that far-mart. But why was Feng Wu stronger than her grandfather all of a sudden? She was even stronger than Elder Dongfang. Helian Zhang patted Yin Han on the shoulder and sighed. Get over it. Don't let your imagination run wild. Helian Zhang found it unbelievable as well. But in the end, he convinced himself and accepted the fact that it shocked him. He and Yin Han had thought that Feng Wu was only a junior spiritual overlord. That was hilarious. After they left, Feng Wu went on talking to the elders. By the way, where are Mr. Liu and the others? Feng Wu asked. They've gone to the spiritual saint battlefield. Elder Dongfang looked concerned. The general has been injured. I wonder what's going to happen. She looked worried, and so were the other elders. Hearing that, Feng Wu turned to leave, but Elder Dongfang stopped her. Wait. Feng Wu looked over her shoulder in bewilderment. Elder Dongfang frowned. That's the battlefield of spiritual saints. You can't go there. The battlefield of spiritual saints. Feng Wu gritted her teeth. No matter what, I have to try. What if they get ambushed? That was what happened last time. Chapter 3974. Chapter 3974. The Girl in Red 3. Chapter 3974. The Girl in Red 3. But you're not powerful enough yet. Elder Dongfang grabbed Feng Wu's arm. You can't go to the other dimension. Feng Wu narrowed her eyes. The other dimension? Elder Dongfang said, That's right. The battlefield of spiritual saints has to be in a different dimension, not a physical plane like ours. Because once the war breaks out, the peace grassland won't be able to withstand their full power. It'll sink right away. Dongfang Zun said solemnly, Therefore, you won't be able to go. Even if you're strong enough, you won't be able to break the wall before you reach the spiritual saint stage. Feng Wu took a deep breath. Where do I get in, then? Elder Dongfang said, There's nothing we can do. Feng Wu frowned. Just then, Elder Yin said, There's a way. If a spiritual saint takes you in, you can go in. Elder Dongfang threw a dirty look at Elder Yin. What are you talking about? There are no spiritual saints left. All the spiritual saints on our side have gone in. Elder Yin sighed. Judging by Feng Wu's performance, she might really be as strong as a levelized spiritual saint. If they had one more spiritual saint on their side now, they might be able to turn things around. I was delusional. Elder Yin smiled bitterly. Just then, Feng Wu's eyes lit up, and she stared at Elder Dongfang. Dongfang Ziyun was confused. What are you doing? Feng Wu suddenly smiled. Even Elder Helian is a spiritual saint now, but you're still a peak spiritual overlord. Don't you feel indignant? Elder Dongfang was furious. Why did she have to bring it up? However, before Elder Dongfang could hit her, Feng Wu said, Do you remember how Elder Helian became a spiritual saint? Elder Dongfang snorted. If you hadn't given him the 3 transformation liquid, would he have been able to make a breakthrough? Feng Wu smiled. What if I give you the 3 transformation liquid as well? Elder Dongfang glanced at Feng Wu. Do you know how much 3 transformation liquid you need to become a spiritual saint? You'll need at least a vat of it. Aren't you already? Before Elder Dongfang could finish, a big water bucket fell on the ground. Dongfang Ziyun's eyes widened when he smelled it. It was the taste she had been dreaming of. As expected, many elders gave her envious looks. It was the 3 transformation liquid of all life. Back then, all the elders of Imperial College had the chance to cultivate with the 3 transformation liquid, but not the elders of the military academy. Elder Dongfang stared at Feng Wu in amazement. Feng Wu said, Just tell me if you can do it or not. Elder Dongfang knew what Feng Wu meant. Would she be able to rise to the spiritual saint stage? Yes. Elder Dongfang smacked her thigh, and her eyes had never looked so resolute. I can do it. Feng Wu said, Let's get on with it then. Use the time to cultivate. If we're late, the battle will be over by then. Elder Dongfang asked curiously, What about you? Chapter 3975. Chapter 3975. Dongfang, Sangjiang. Chapter 3975. Dongfang, Sangjiang. Fengwu shook her head. I don't need the liquid to raise my cultivation level. She couldn't even if she wanted to. Because of the rapid progress in her cultivation, her foundation was already a little shaky. Although the pills she had obtained from Patriarchal Yin had greatly improved her physical fitness, she couldn't make any more progress in the short term. Elder Dongfang nodded solemnly, then jumped into the large bucket. Time was of the essence here, and she didn't have much time to think about it. The elders envied Elder Dongfang, and their impression of Fengwu improved as well. Although they didn't know if Elder Dongfang would succeed, if she succeeded, it would mean that Fengwu had a shortcut to rise from the spiritual overlord stage to the spiritual saint stage. If that was the case, she would be even more important. Elder Yin and the other elders who had interacted with Fengwu before all looked at one another and thought that they would have to get closer to Fengwu. Seeing that the other elders had nothing better to do, Fengwu took out the rest of the liquid and told them, "That's all I have left. Please share it among yourselves." All the elders of Imperial College had received the 3 transformation liquid before, so it was useless to them. The elders of the military academy had been longing for the 3 transformation liquid for so long that they thought they would never get it. However, Feng Wii took the lionid oil and shared it with them. The elders were so touched that they almost burst into tears. Fengwu told Elder Yin to distribute the liquid while she sat down by the bucket where Elder Dongfang was. She watched over the elder as she repaired her body. She couldn't stand the looks of gratitude from other people. Time ticked by. Elders kept making breakthroughs. Some rose from junior spiritual overlord to intermediate spiritual overlord, some from intermediate to advanced ones, and some even reached the peak of the spiritual overlord stage. The elders looked at Fengwu as if she was a god. The elders used to be so arrogant, but now they were so grateful to Fengwu. Fengwu had no idea of any of this. Right now, all her attention was on Elder Dongfang, and she prayed in her head that she wouldn't fail. The longer it took, the more worried Fengwu became. Suddenly, there was a thump. The impact sent a shock wave through the water, and the porcelain bucket shattered. Sensing the shock wave, Fengwu immediately backed away. The moment Fengwu stepped back, the bucket exploded, and Elder Dongfang stood there with a stern look on her face. She was much more intimidating than before. "Elder Dongfang," Fengwu cried out in surprise. She immediately realized that Elder Dongfang had succeeded. Elder Dongfang turned around and nodded at Fengwu. It was the aura of a spiritual saint. "Thank you." After the arrogant look disappeared from Elder Dongfang's face, she finally smiled and cupped her fists at Fengwu. "Little Fengwu, I, Dongfang Sangjiang, owe you a big favor." Chapter 3976. Chapter 3976. The Spiritual Saint Battlefield. Chapter 3976. The Spiritual Saint Battlefield. Only then did Fengwu realize that Elder Dongfang's real name was Dongfang Sangjiang. What a masculine name. "Let's go." With a wave of his hand, Elder Dongfang led Fengwu away. Sure, Fengwu followed Elder Dongfang and saw her tear the space open with her bare hands. The two of them went in together. This was Fengwu's first time in a different space. As soon as she walked in, Fengwu felt a gust of wind blowing at her. There were countless wind blades in the wind, each as sharp as a blade. If one wasn't careful, they would be cut open and bleed profusely. A golden shield appeared around Elder Dongfang, blocking out all the wind. Elder Dongfang was a little worried about Fengwu. After all, Fengwu hadn't reached the spiritual saint stage yet, and she probably wouldn't be able to withstand the wind. She decided to protect Fengwu. Although it would affect her capability, Fengwu's safety was the most important thing. When Elder Dongfang turned around to look for Fengwu and tried to put her golden shield on the ladder, she was surprised by something. She stood ramrod straight, and looked completely unaffected. Elder Dongfang noticed the scale armor on Feng Wu. The armor was in the shape of a qilin. Not only did it protect her head, torso, and all four limbs, but it also covered her head, and only her eyes could be seen. Elder Dongfang asked, "What's this?" Feng Wu's voice came out of the armor. "Don't worry. I can protect myself. The wind won't do anything to me." Of course it wouldn't. Feng Wu was wearing the qilin armor. It was the qilin armor her fifth senior brother gave her. It used to be a divine weapon, but for some special reason, it was turned into a semi-divine weapon. However, even a semi-divine weapon was enough to drive people crazy. Elder Dongfang gave Feng Wu a strange look, wondering why the girl had such a formidable defensive semi-divine weapon. However, with the armor, Feng Wu wasn't afraid of the wind anymore. "Let's go." Elder Dongfang immediately took Feng Wu to the spiritual saint battlefield. A battle was taking place. The Junwu Empire had 4 capable cultivators. General Feng Xiangnan, Mr. Su, Elder Helion. The Dongsang Kingdom had 5 capable cultivators. Shui Jibei, left emissary Wang, right emissary Zhao. Lord Jing, a brother of the Dongsang King and Night Owl's uncle. And one of Yinling's guards Feng Wu had met in the Junwu Empire, and he was a peak spiritual saint. If the Dongsang Kingdom only had the first 4 cultivators, the Junwu Empire would still stand a chance. However, with the addition of a peak spiritual saint, the battle was doomed. Feng Xiangnan was at a disadvantage against Shui Jibei. It was a tie between Mr. Su and Wang, between Mr. Liu and Zhao, and between Elder Helion and Lord Jing. However, the peak spiritual saint was watching the battle with a sword between his crossed arms. Ma Quan was ready to join the battle and kill the Junwu Empire's cultivators at any moment. As a matter of fact, he was about to start. He walked up to Lord Jing and said indifferently, "Go get some rest." Lord Jing was a prominent figure in the Dongsang Kingdom, but he was very polite to Ma Quan and didn't dare to say no. That was because Chapter 3977. Chapter 3977. It's you. Chapter 3977. It's you. Yes, master. Lord Jing stepped aside respectfully. Elder Huoyin's stomach lurched. Master, Lord Jing's master was this unfathomable master. Elder Helion didn't know how capable Ma Quan was, but he could sense how formidable he was. As expected, Elder Helion stumbled back when Ma Quan stood in front of him. Ma Quan struck out without hesitation. Instantly, the spiritual essence around Elder Helion became chaotic, and the air contorted, revealing his ferocious side. "Die!" Ma Quan punched out. A murderous energy filled the air. A short distance away, Feng Xiangnan, who was fighting Shui Jibei, looked over his shoulder and was astonished. "Helion, fall back!" Feng Xiangnan bellowed. But it was too late. Elder Helion had thought that he could move away, but Ma Quan made him feel like a cumbersome child. He tried to walk away, but his legs seemed to be stuck to the ground. Until, thump, there was a loud bang. Elder Helion was pushed away. Blood gushed out of Elder Helion's mouth, and he flew backward like an arrow. Behind him, the air seemed to freeze, and cracks appeared on it. Thump! Elder Helion landed on the ground. The moment he hit the ground, Elder Helion felt numb, and his head went blank. He thought he was dead. Helion, Feng Xiangnan kept looking in their direction. However, Shui Jibei was his equal, and he wasn't injured. "Go keep him company." Shui Jibei struck down at Feng Xiangnan's throat. Feng Xiangnan tilted his head to dodge, but the blade cut a long gash on his chest. The wound was so deep that one could see the bone. It was obvious that Feng Xiangnan was in an even more difficult situation. Shui Jibei swiped his sword across the air, and Feng Xiangnan was hit in the right arm again. Blood gushed out. When Feng Xiangnan finally steadied himself, Shui Jibei took the opportunity to strike out again. The sword energy was fierce. Thousands of swords seemed to fill the air. An invisible shock wave rushed toward Feng Xiangnan. The sword energy erupted like an erupting volcano, and dark clouds gathered in the sky. A streak of sword energy slashed down at Feng Xiangnan. His right arm was cut off. Shui Jibei glared at Feng Xiangnan. We've been at each other's throats for over a decade. Let's fight to the death. He was in grave danger. Feng Xiangnan's heart sank. He had no regrets about his impending death, but what pained him was that if he died, Ness Castle would fall. Would the Dongseng Kingdom take the Junwu Empire again? Was the humiliating battle 14 years ago going to happen again? Die! Shui Jibei raised his sword. That was what Feng Wu saw when she arrived. Elder Hulian's life was hanging in the balance, and so was General Feng. Stop! Feng Wu bellowed. Immediately, all eyes were on Feng Wu. Shui Jibei and Ma Quan stopped fighting involuntarily and looked at Feng Wu. Ma Quan immediately recognized the girl who had defeated his princess at the banquet. Shui Jibei also recognized Feng Wu. Chapter 3978. Chapter 3978. The Most Amazing Person 1. Chapter 3978. The Most Amazing Person 1. Feng Wu found it strange. She was already wearing the Qilin armor. Apart from her eyes, the rest of her body was hidden. How could these people recognize her? What she didn't know was that these capable cultivators didn't just recognize a person by their appearance, but by their aura as well. But Feng Wu couldn't care less about that now. She stared at Shui Jibei and said, "Stop. And you stop it too," Feng Wu said firmly. Ma Quan frowned. Because of Princess Yinling, he felt that the girl seemed to be hiding a big secret. Shui Jibei looked at Feng Wu and smirked. "Young lady, you're not supposed to be here. I won't kill you just yet. You can go now." Feng Xiangnan glared at Feng Wu and shot her a warning glance. "Leave now. She shouldn't be here. What's she doing here? Bring Jun Linyuan here." Feng Wu knew perfectly well what her godfather meant. If Jun Linyuan could come here, he would have done so already. He was in a critical moment like this, and he couldn't just walk out of his seclusion. Feng Wu shook her head at Feng Xiangnan. Feng Xiangnan lost all hope. Jun Linyuan couldn't come? If that was the case, they didn't stand any chance at all. Since Jun Linyuan couldn't come, leave. Leave now. Feng Xiangnan said angrily. Go tell His Majesty to get ready for war. Shui Jibei laughed. Feng Xiangnan, I never thought I would hear you sound so anxious. Feng Xiangnan glared at Shui Jibei. Shui Jibei shook his head. Let's end it. After that, he struck out. At that critical moment, Feng Wu stepped out and blocked Feng Xiangnan's way. Clang! There was the cold sound of clashing weapons. Everyone looked in their direction. Shui Jibei's sword hit Feng Wu, and the metal clashed. Feng Wu took 3 steps back to offset the pressure. Xiao Wu, Feng Xiangnan blanched. Dragging Feng Wu to his side, he looked her up and down. Kiddo, why did you do that? Do you want to die? Are you all right? Shui Jibei's strike almost knocked Feng Wu out. Judging by her appearance, she looked all right because most of the attack power was offset by the armor. However, Shui Jibei was much more capable than Feng Wu, and the impact from the armor had shaken Feng Wu's internal organs. Feng Wu almost spat out a mouthful of blood. She only realized what had happened when Feng Xiangnan grabbed her arm. What? Feng Wu realized she could move. That wasn't the most important thing. She noticed something incredible. She realized that the spiritual essence Shui Jibei exerted on the armor had been transferred to her in a mild way. Moreover, it had reached her dantian through her limbs. Feng Wu was astonished. She had never expected that the armor could have such a nice function. No, it can't be, Feng Wu murmured in surprise. However, when she examined it again, she realized that the spiritual essence could still gather and get used in attacks after it entered her dantian. Feng Wu was thrilled. That was to say, she could use the armor as a hub. Chapter 3979. Chapter 3979. The most amazing person, too. Chapter 3979. The most amazing person, too. That was to say, she could use the armor to absorb the opponent's spiritual essence before attacking them. That was the best news. Just then, Shui Jibei attacked again. Feng Wu pushed Feng Xiangnan away and ran up to Shui Jibei. Shui Jibei looked surprised, but he soon realized that Feng Wu was trying to trick him. The girl seemed to be at the peak of the spiritual overlord stage. She shouldn't be able to withstand his lethal strike. This time, Shui Jibei made another strike. The fluctuation of the space in front of him smashed into Feng Wu, throwing her out of the way. After Feng Wu and Shui Jibei started fighting, the others stopped fighting and were all watching them. Feng Wu flew backward. The Qilin armor had withstood 90% of the attack, but the remaining 10% was enough to give Feng Wu a headache. Cough! Blood rushed to Feng Wu's head, and she tasted blood in her throat. Shui Jibei smirked and ignored Feng Wu. When he was going to attack the others again, Feng Wu stumbled back to her feet. Shui Jibei, is that all you can do? Feng Wu's voice was full of provocation. Shui Jibei was speechless. He turned around and looked at Feng Wu in amazement. He had used all his power in 2 strikes, but the girl still hadn't been defeated. Wasn't she a peak spiritual overlord? Wearing the scaled armor, Feng Wu slowly walked up to Shui Jibei and smirked. You can't kill me. Shui Jibei narrowed his eyes. He was already an intermediate spiritual saint, and even a junior spiritual saint wouldn't be able to withstand his attack. But Feng Wu was only a spiritual overlord. How could she withstand it? Do you want to die that badly? I'll grant your wish. After that, Shui Jibei struck out at Feng Wu. Feng Xiangnan shielded Feng Wu with his own body. Feng Wu smiled at Shui Jibei. Is that all you can do? Shui Jibei stared at Feng Wu with narrowed eyes, as if he was thinking. Ma Quan suddenly realized something. She's stalling. Shui Jibei's face turned livid as he stared at Feng Wu. Stall for time? Is there anyone else in the Junwu Empire that they can use? Shui Jibei turned to look at Ma Quan. Didn't you say that Jun Linyuan was missing? Ma Quan nodded. That's true. Shui Jibei asked, who else can the Junwu Empire count on? Ma Quan frowned and shook his head. As far as he knew, Master Linghu couldn't leave Emperor Wu's capital, so who else could it be? Shui Jibei sneered at Feng Wu. Since no one is coming, none of you are going to leave this place alive. Shui Jibei stared at Feng Xiangnan. Since we've been fighting each other for so many years, I'm going to allow you to have an intact body. Kill yourself. Feng Xiangnan's face was livid. There was no frustration on his weathered face, but only tenacity. Kill himself? That was impossible. Let her go. She's still young. Feng Xiangnan pointed at Feng Wu. She's not a spiritual saint yet. Chapter 3980. Chapter 3980. The Most Amazing Person 3. Chapter 3980. The Most Amazing Person 3. Shui Jibei shook his head and told Feng Xiangnan, no. Feng Xiangnan said, Shui Jibei, you've broken the rules. This is supposed to be a battlefield for spiritual saints, not spiritual overlords. Shui Jibei smirked. She's only a spiritual overlord, but she still came here. Who's going to stop her? Plus, in the face of absolute power, rules are meant to be broken. Since you won't kill yourself, there's a way that I can spare her life. Shui Jibei smiled at Feng Wu. Kiddo, I'm going to give you a chance. Your godfather risked his life for you. With a clang, Shui Jibei tossed his sword in front of Feng Wu. Take this sword and kill Feng Xiangnan yourself. You'll live. Go. Shui Jibei smiled at Feng Wu, looking forward to seeing Feng Xiangnan killed by the person he protected. Staring at his archenemy, Feng Xiangnan trembled violently, and his pupils contracted. Shui Jibei had created a dilemma for Feng Wu. It was a difficult task that tested one's character. That won't be necessary. Fearing that Feng Wu would have a hard time, Feng Xiangnan picked up the sword and tried to slit his throat. Wait! Feng Wu grabbed the sword. But Feng Xiangnan was determined. Father! Feng Wu gritted her teeth. You can't do that. Put down your sword. But Feng Xiangnan wouldn't let it drop. Feng Wu shouted angrily. Where did you get that confidence from? Will they let me go after I kill you? Do you believe in their honor or their conscience? If they had a conscience, they would have signed the peace treaty a long time ago. Why would they tear it up? Father, don't believe a word they say. The only thing you can trust is your capability. Feng Xiangnan smiled bitterly. He knew perfectly well that the other side couldn't be trusted, and he also knew that the only thing he could trust was his capability. However, he couldn't bring himself to put Feng Wu under such pressure. Trust me, we're not going to lose, Feng Wu said earnestly. We won't. Immediately, all eyes were on Feng Wu. Feng Xiangnan, Mr. Liu, Mr. Su, Elder Helian, and Elder Dongfeng all looked expectantly at Feng Wu. Was it Jun Linyuan? Would the Crown Prince be here in time? Yeah. So what if Jun Linyuan can get here? We still have a peak spiritual saint. Ma Chuanchuan's voice rang out in the crowd. Jun Linyuan is just one more spiritual saint from the Junwu Empire. Feng Xiangnan and the others were filled with despair. They were still short of a peak spiritual saint. Ma Quanquan shook his head and said to Xue Zhibei, Xiaobei, don't waste your time. Yes, master. Xue Zhibei stared at the crowd and said indifferently, in that case, all of you can go to hell. The divine phoenix blood is finally gone. It'll be a great relief for His Majesty. After that, a giant ball of light appeared on Xue Zhibei's chest. Standing next to him, Ma Quanquan was ready to give it his all. The battle could start at any moment. The Junwu Empire was on the verge of collapse. At that critical moment, stop! They heard a cold voice. Chapter 3981. Chapter 3981. He's here, 1. Chapter 3981. He's here, 1. They heard a cold voice. Everyone looked up in the direction of the sound and saw a streak of light. A formidable cultivator had landed in front of them. People of the Junwu Empire had thought that Jun Linyuan was here, but even if Jun Linyuan was here, it wouldn't change anything. However, they were all confused when they saw who it was. Elder Helian and the others didn't know who he was, but Feng Xiangnan did. You? His voice trembled a little. Someone who could make General Feng so excited had to be extraordinary. That was indeed the case. It was none other than Patriarch Huyin, Feng Wu's 6th senior brother. Of course, Feng Wu couldn't do that in front of other people. Feng Wu let out a breath of relief when she saw Patriarch Huyin. Finally, she didn't have to risk her life anymore. Didn't she want to cherish her life? Yes, she did, but she just couldn't. When she left the Northern Yin Kingdom, her 6th senior brother gave her a jade plate and told her that if her life was in danger, she could crush it, and he would rush to her side as soon as he could. Therefore, Feng Wu crushed the jade plate as soon as she saw Ma Quanquan and summoned her 6th senior brother. However, her 6th senior brother didn't arrive immediately, and Feng Wu was still injured. He only let out a breath of relief when he saw the Qilin armor. But it only lasted for a split second, and Feng Wu was the only one who noticed it. Feng Xiangnan recognized the old man, and so did Xue Zhibei. Xue Zhibei was confused and shocked to see Master Huyin here. Why are you here? Suppressing his anger, Xue Zhibei forced a smile. The spiritual saints of the Junwu Empire were supposed to disappear after this battle. Even if Jun Linyuan came out again, there was nothing he could do. The Dongseng Kingdom would be able to march into the city without breaking a sweat. Just like 14 years ago. However, Patriarch Huyin stopped it from happening. As sharp as he was, he immediately saw what was going on. It was a battle to the death between two armies. The Dongseng Kingdom and the Junwu Empire were the two most powerful forces on this continent. The Northern Yin Kingdom, the third most powerful empire, could just sit around and cheer them on. Once the battle was over, they could choose to side with the winner. There was no need to get involved in such a complicated matter. At that thought, Patriarch Huyin gave Feng Wu a dispirited look. Feng Wu made a face at him. Patriarch Huyin rubbed his forehead. Had it not been for Feng Wu, he would have enjoyed the show, but the girl was on the Junwu Empire's side. Gosh, that was so troublesome. As he complained inwardly about his junior sister, he stared at Xue Zhibei. What? Is this the Dongsang Kingdom's land? Why can't I come? Xue Zhibei didn't dare to offend Master Huyin, so he smiled bitterly. Of course, you can come here. I wonder if you're here on purpose or just passing. Patriarch Huyin smirked. So what if I'm here on purpose? So what if I'm the Sin's BV? Xue Zhibei smiled. If you're just passing by, we'd like to show you our utter respect. We won't dare to stop you. Moreover, the Dongsang Kingdom would like to form an alliance with the Northern Yin Kingdom for 100 years. Chapter 3982. Chapter 3982. He's here too. Chapter 3982. He's here too. What Xue Zhibei said was a bribe. Master Huyin glanced at him with a half-smile. What if I'm here on purpose? Xue Zhibei's stomach lurched, and he had a bad feeling. But if he had a choice, Xue Zhibei wouldn't dare to offend Master Huyin, because the old man was from ancient times. Xue Zhibei forced a smile. If you're here on purpose, there are two possibilities. One is that you're here for the Junwu Empire, and the other is for the Dongsang Kingdom. I wonder. Master Huyin cut to the chase. I'm here for the Junwu Empire. What are you going to do? Xue Zhibei blanched at those words, while Feng Xiangnan's eyes widened. Was he here to save the Junwu Empire? The Northern Yin Kingdom and the Junwu Empire had never been very close. Speaking of which, the Northern Yin Kingdom and the Dongsang Kingdom were much closer. Therefore, you should be on the Dongsang Kingdom's side. Why the Junwu Empire? Xue Zhibei had the same question, and he forced himself to ask, May I ask why you want to help the Junwu Empire? If this intimidating figure really wanted to help the Junwu Empire, normally, someone as capable as Master Huyin wouldn't talk so much to an intermediate spiritual saint like Xue Zhibei. However, Master Huyin seemed to be very talkative this time. Crossing his hands behind his back, he said indifferently, I'm here on a young friend's request. Other people might not be able to tell, but Feng Wu could tell that her sick senior brother was grinding his teeth. Was he trying to beat her up? Feng Wu cringed. As expected, everyone focused on what Patriarch Huyin said. A young friend's request. Who is this young friend? How could that person get Patriarch Huyin's help? Is it June? June! Xue Zhibei felt a chill run down his spine. If it really was June Lin Yuan, it meant that the Northern Yin Kingdom had sided with the Junwu Empire. Had they become allies? That was bad news for the Dongsang Kingdom. Patriarch Huyin grew impatient. Glaring at Xue Zhibei, he said, I've been entrusted with a task. These people of the Junwu Empire can't be touched today. You can leave now. But Xue Zhibei couldn't bring himself to waste such a great opportunity. Therefore, he was still trying. Master Huyin, are the Northern Yin Kingdom and the Junwu Empire allies now? Gritting his teeth, he asked, Is Northern Yin really siding with Junwu? Patriarch Huyin closed his eyes with a grim look on his face. But Feng Wu knew. She had put her sixth brother in a difficult spot. Northern Yin was supposed to be an onlooker country that didn't need to be involved in the war. If helping the Junwu Empire put Northern Yin in constant conflict, how could her sixth senior brother stand it? Feng Wu suddenly said, Why do you care if Northern Yin is on our side or not? Since Master Huyin has agreed to help the Junwu Empire, it has to be a personal favor. Everyone stared at Feng Wu in astonishment. How dare a mere spiritual overlord like her speak up in a situation like this? Even Mr. Liu, a spiritual saint, didn't dare to make a sound, nor did Elder Helion, a new spiritual saint. Chapter 3983. Chapter 3983. He's here, 3. Chapter 3983. He's here, 3. Feng Wu hadn't reached the spiritual saint stage yet, so it was only natural that she trembled in fear. No, she wasn't qualified to be here. Not only wasn't she shivering, but she was also chatting and laughing as if she was the host. Feng Xiangnan tugged at Feng Wu's sleeve and glared at her. "Shut up, young lady. Can't you see that I'm too scared to make sound?" Patriarch Yin belonged to the same era as Master Linghu. He was in the same generation as the matriarch of the Firmament Palace. However, even when Feng Xiangnan tugged at her, Feng Wu still grinned at Patriarch Huyin. "Sir, do you think I have a point?" She was smiling like a little monkey. Even the spiritual saints of the Zhenwu Empire were worried that Feng Wu would offend Master Huyin. After all, the legendary Patriarch Huyin had a short temper. Shueji Bei and the others also sneered at the arrogant girl. Master Huyin glanced at the girl and grunted. Yes, that was it. Shueji Bei suddenly had a strange feeling. Somehow, he felt that Patriarch Huyin was treating the girl better than he treated other people. Feng Wu grinned. "We don't dare to ask which friend of yours made that request, but I'm sure they don't want to drag the neutral Northern Yin kingdom down with them either." Patriarch Huyin's eyes lit up a little when he looked at Feng Wu. He didn't expect his junior sister to be so smart. Their master was amazing. If he picked Feng Wu as his last pupil, she had to be the most brilliant of the 7 disciples. At the thought of his master, Patriarch Huyin felt guilty for not taking good care of his junior sister. Feng Wu smiled. "Therefore, I won't take up too much of your time. How about you protect us for 3 months? When Jun Linyuan came out of seclusion 3 months later, he would be invincible. 3 months. Shueji Bei was the first to shake his head. According to the deadline set by the Dayan Empire, Dongseng needed to destroy the Zhenwu Empire in 2 months. The army should wipe out everything in their path. Master Huyin wanted to say yes, but Shueji Bei said, "Master, may I talk to you in private?" Was he going to make a secret agreement? Someone as capable as Patriarch Huyin wouldn't just follow Shueji Bei's orders. If the old man was displeased, he could strangle Shueji Bei with a wave of his hand. Therefore, the old man snorted contemptuously. Feng Wu couldn't wait to find out the secret, so she gave Master Huyin a warning look, telling him to go with Shueji Bei. Since his junior sister had asked, with a wave of his hand, Patriarch Huyin shut everyone out, apart from him and Shueji Bei. Shueji Bei dropped to one knee and pleaded, "Master, this isn't just about the Dongseng kingdom. It's about the Dayan Empire." Shueji Bei told him what the empire had told him and pleaded, "The Zhenwu Empire is bound to fall, and that's bound to happen. Please think about the people of the Northern Yin kingdom and don't let them die in vain. The people of the Dayan Empire is looking for R in the Zhenwu Empire, and so is the thing the empire is after. They're going to destroy the Zhenwu Empire, and the other countries won't be affected." Chapter 3984. Chapter 3984. Secret Task. Chapter 3984. Secret Task. "Master, please show some mercy to the people of Northern Yin," Shueji Bei said sadly. "If the Zhenwu Empire isn't destroyed, the Dayan Empire will destroy the entire Jiuzhou continent. All 9 kingdoms will be destroyed. If that's the case, why not let the Zhenwu Empire make a sacrifice for our survival? We'll live if they're dead." Shueji Bei's words kept replaying in Huyin's head. The Dayan Empire. Patriarch Huyin's face turned livid at those words. What an empire! Wasn't it enough to destroy the continent once? Were they going to do it again? Patriarch Huyin smirked inwardly. However, Feng Wu was right. He needed to stall. Therefore, he said indifferently, 3 months. Shueji Bei looked at him in bewilderment. Patriarch Huyin smirked. "You're not allowed to lay a finger on the Zhenwu Empire for 3 months. That way, I'll be able to answer to my young friend." Shueji Bei kept his gaze on Master Huyin, seeing how stubborn the old man was. Shueji Bei could only sigh and went back to talk to Ma Quanquan. Ma Quanquan was a spiritual saint, and he could do whatever he wanted in the outside world. However, he didn't dare to be careless in front of Master Huyin. someone above the spiritual saint stage, was a very prestigious figure, even in the Empire of Dian. They couldn't defeat him. Ma Quan had no choice but to nod at Shui Bei. 3 more months didn't matter. The most important thing was to destroy the Junwu Empire. Blood would flow like rivers, and lives would be lost. As for why, Ma Quan didn't know the answer. He only knew that was what his lord told them. Soon, Ma Chuanchue and the others left. Feng Wu picked up Feng Xiangnan's severed limb and steadied him. Patriarch Yin was about to leave, but Feng Wu still had something to tell him, so she stopped him involuntarily. Patriarch! The others jumped at her voice. Patriarch Yin was leaving, but the girl had just called him. How bold! It just so happened that Patriarch Yin looked back at Feng Wu, and if the others weren't mistaken, they saw resignation in his eyes. Master Yin didn't know what to do with little Feng Wu. Fine, I'll go with you. Patriarch Yin stopped and walked up to Feng Wu. Feng Wu smiled. Of course, I'll have to treat you to a good meal when we get back. You've worked very hard today. Patriarch Yin glanced at Feng Wu. The girl sounded so respectful now, but she was like a spoiled child around him. So what if she was a little spoiled? She was only like that around him. At that thought, Patriarch Yin couldn't help but gloat. Feng Xiangnan invited Master Yin to lead the way, but the old man waved him off. Don't worry, I'll just stay with her and keep the wind away from her. Feng wouldn't even feel the wind when Master Yin stood next to her. General Feng, Mr. Liu, and the others all looked at Feng Wu in bewilderment. Mr. Su was also giving Feng Wu strange looks. When the girl joined the Imperial College, Mr. Su actually had a problem with her. However, after Feng Wu's achievements, Mr. Su changed his opinion of her over and over again. Chapter 3985. Chapter 3985. The Sixth Senior Brother. Chapter 3985. The Sixth Senior Brother. By now, his curiosity about Feng Wu had outweighed his dislike. Especially today. Mr. Su walked behind them and stared at the 3 people in front of him. Feng Wu supported Feng Xiangnan as they walked, while Patriarch Yin stood next to Feng Wu, as if he was ready to protect her at any moment. Mr. Su nudged Mr. Liu with his elbow. Mr. Liu looked at him in bewilderment. Mr. Su whispered, "What's the girl's relationship with Master Yin?" Mr. Liu shook his head. How was he supposed to know? But what did little Feng Wu have anything to do with Northern Yan's pillar? It had to be the first time they had met. Mr. Su glanced at Mr. Liu and clicked his tongue. It couldn't be the first time they met. If he was guessing right, His Royal Highness had introduced Feng Wu to the Patriarch once before. That was why they seemed so familiar. So the young friend that Master Yin was talking about was, of course, Patriarch Yin, who was walking in the front, heard them. However, he didn't like it when someone tried to take Feng Wu's credit. Jun Lin Yuan? Of course, it's not him, said Patriarch Yin. Mr. Su stumbled and almost fell to the ground. Behind Mr. Su, Elder Helian and Elder Dongfang exchanged looks, and both lowered their heads. Even Mr. Su, who had been so arrogant in front of them, was frightened by Master Yin. That was new, but if it wasn't His Royal Highness, then who was it? The others were all confused. After they left the other dimension, Elder Dongfang said anxiously, "I wonder how the intermediate battlefield is doing. I'll go have a look first." She dashed off after that. Elder Helian was about to follow her when Feng Wu stopped him. "Don't worry. The battlefield is fine." Elder Helian looked at Feng Wu. "How do you know that?" Feng Wu shrugged. Of course, she knew that. She had single-handedly destroyed 200 fighter jets, and she had captured their captain as well. Feng Wu said, "Go find Helian Zheong. I think he's holding the captain of the Dongsang Kingdom's fighter jet." Elder Helian looked at Feng Wu in amazement. Feng Wu waved him off. "Go. Why don't you believe me? Just ask your grandson." After Elder Dongfang and Elder Helian left, Mr. Liu and Mr. Su went back to their own courtyards to treat their wounds. Hence, Feng Xiangnan, Feng Wu, and Patriarch Huyin were the only ones left in the general's residence. Feng Wu sat Feng Xiangnan down on the chaise lounge and tried to reattach his right arm. If she didn't put it back in time, it would damage his cultivation in the future. However, Feng Xiangnan told Feng Wu to attend to Master Huyin first. After all, to Feng Xiangnan, Patriarch Huyin was a senior of Master Ling Hu's generation, and he couldn't afford to show any disrespect. Feng Wu didn't know what to say. Why? Let him find a place to sit. Feng Xiangnan was dumbfounded. Since when was this girl so arrogant? Senior Huyin, my daughter was reckless. It wasn't that Feng Xiangnan was pedantic, but how could she be so indifferent in front of such a powerful senior? However, Master Huyin had already found a chair and sat down. He even poured himself a cup of tea and took a sip. Chapter 3986. Chapter 3986. Brilliant Girl 1. Chapter 3986. Brilliant Girl 1. Only then did he glance at Feng Wu. We're all back in the room. Aren't you tired of wearing this Qilin armor? Take it off. It looks so exhausting. Feng Wu snorted. You don't even have one. Patriarch Huyin said. Why should I care? Feng Wu said. Well, you don't have one. Master Ling Hu gave it to me. Patriarch Huyin smacked Feng Wu on the head. Kiddo, hurry up. We still have to go back after this. Feng Xiangnan was baffled by the conversation. Since when was his daughter able to talk to someone as influential as Patriarch Huyin? And why did she look so familiar with him? And why did Master Ling Hu give her the Qilin armor? Feng Xiangnan was still baffled when Feng Wu reattached his arm and tied it with a pretty bow. Father, you have to be careful with this hand from now on. Don't move around before it recovers. Otherwise, it'll affect your ability to use the sword. Feng Wu reminded him in a serious tone. Feng Xiangnan nodded in bewilderment. By then, Feng Wu had finished cleaning her hands and turned to look at Patriarch Huyin. So, what did Shuiji Bei tell you in private? Feng Wu cut to the chase. General Feng drew in his breath. Feng Wu was confused. Don't you want to know? Of course, General Feng wanted to know, but was that even possible? That was a secret between the Northern Yin Kingdom and the Dongsang Kingdom, and the Junwu Empire and the Northern Yin Kingdom weren't very close. However, Patriarch Huyin waved her off. Kiddo, if you want to know, of course, I'll tell you. General Feng was speechless. Patriarch Huyin said, that little general was very straightforward. He said that the Dongsang Kingdom wanted to attack the Junwu Empire because of an order from the Dian Empire, who wanted to destroy the Junwu Empire. After a pause, the look on Patriarch Huyin's face became even more serious, and he went on. They won't stop until there's bloodshed. Why? Feng Wu was confused. Why does Dian want to do that? Why do they have to kill so many people? What did the Junwu Empire do? Master Huyin shook his head. I don't know. Feng Wu clenched her fists. That's outrageous. Patriarch Huyin glanced at Feng Wu and said slowly, the empire is hundreds of times bigger than the continent of Jiuzhou. It's only normal that they have hundreds of times more capable cultivators than us. After all, we've only been around for a few years, and the empire has existed since time immemorial. 100 times is only an estimate. If such a colossus wants the Junwu Empire dead, even Patriarch Huyin felt troubled. Kiddo, why don't you change your nationality to Northern Yin? Feng Wu threw a dirty look at him. Patriarch Huyin smiled bitterly. He knew that the girl wouldn't agree. I want to know why. Feng Wu paced up and down the room, her head spinning. Patriarch Huyin was pleased to see Feng Wu like this. Other people would be scared out of their wits if they knew that a colossal like Dian was going to destroy the Junwu Empire. They would either run away or kneel down. However, Feng Wu was trying to figure out a way to solve the problem. Chapter 3987. Chapter 3987. Brilliant Girl 2. Chapter 3987. Brilliant Girl 2. Crossing her hands behind her back, Feng Wu frowned as she walked. The only thing we can do now is figure out why Dian is doing this. Why do they want the Junwu Empire dead? Why do they want to kill everyone in the Junwu Empire? Do they only want the Junwu Empire dead or the entire continent destroyed? Patriarch Huya stared at Fengwu. Fengwu said, "Please don't stare at me like that. It's like you said before. The Empire is such a colossus that no one can predict what they're going to do. What difference does it make if they want to destroy the Junwu Empire or the continent? What if we destroy the Junwu Empire first before taking care of the other 8 kingdoms?" Patriarch Huyan was speechless. Although he knew that the girl was talking nonsense, what if? He was lost in his thoughts. General Feng looked at Fengwu in amazement, his eyes twinkling. His daughter was so talented. It would be great if he could make the Northern Yin Kingdom an alliance. General Feng looked expectantly at Master Huyan. Patriarch Huyan rolled his eyes at them. "What do you want?" Master Huyan said grumpily. "Of course, I'll help you, but the Junwu Empire is too big a burden for me to carry." Fengwu said seriously, "What if the Junwu Empire is only the first step toward destroying this continent? What if the second step is the Northern Yin Kingdom?" Patriarch Huyan immediately stopped talking. Fengwu said seriously, "I think that's very likely." Patriarch Yin said solemnly, "If that's the case, of course, Northern Yin will stand with the Junwu Empire." Fengwu said, "Deal." Patriarch Huyan looked at Fengwu in amazement. "What are you doing?" Fengwu said, "I'm going to the Dongseng Kingdom's capital." Before Patriarch Huyan could say anything, Feng Xiangnan said, "No, you can't do that." Fengwu looked at him in bewilderment. Feng Xiangnan said solemnly, "Do you know what's going on in the Dongseng Kingdom? You're just a girl, and you're traveling thousands of miles to Donglin City. Do you know what danger you'll run into there? That place is heavily guarded. We can't even send a spy there. You'll be all alone, and no one will be able to help you. No, you can't go." Fengwu smiled bitterly. "That's why I have to go. Godfather, you know I have Magic Vine. I can change my aura into that of the Dongseng Kingdom. They can't tell that I'm a fake. That's my specialty. No one else can do it, so I'm the only one who can do it." Feng Xiangnan still shook his head and wouldn't let Fengwu go. "There are men in the Empire, and a girl like you doesn't have to put your life on the line. You're not going." Fengwu smiled bitterly. Ever since she was born, she couldn't just stand there and wait for other people to protect her. If someone has to go, let Jun Linyuan do it. This is his empire, his people, and his responsibility. Feng Xiangnan said affirmatively. Fengwu smiled bitterly. If he could go, he would. No one could stop him, but he can't go now. Fengwu then told him about the ambush in the Northern Yin Kingdom. Chapter 3988. Chapter 3988. His junior sister insisted. Chapter 3988. His junior sister insisted. Feng Xiangnan asked, "Is he injured?" Fengwu nodded. "He can't come out for 3 months. He can't get injured again." General Feng nodded. When he heard that Jun Linyuan had single-handedly defeated so many spiritual saints, General Feng was astonished. Before she knew it, Jun Linyuan had become so capable. He then looked at Fengwu, who was bargaining with Patriarch Huyan. As a matter of fact, Jun Linyuan wasn't the only one. The girl in front of him was equally astonishing. General Feng was pleased. The younger generation had grown so fast that it was a lot less stressful for them. However, when he recalled what Patriarch Huyan said, that the Dian Empire was determined to destroy the Junwu Empire, General Feng felt a chill run down his spine. By then, Fengwu had finished talking to Patriarch Huyan. She said, "It's a deal, then?" Patriarch Huyan nodded. "Of course. I can fool other people, but I can't fool you. If their master heard about this, he would be in trouble." General Feng was perplexed. What was the Patriarch and Fengwu talking about in that split second? Why were they so excited? Patriarch Yin was about to leave after that when General Feng suddenly remembered someone. If that person was here, they might be able to save the Junwu Empire and the entire continent. Hence, General Feng said, "Senior Huyan, Master Huyin looked at General Feng in bewilderment. After some thought, General Feng asked, "Is it rumored that Master Mu is your master?" Patriarch Huyin glanced at Feng Wu, but she didn't say anything. Did that mean that he could say whatever he wanted? Patriarch Huyin cleared his throat and put on a straight face. "Why do you ask?" General Feng said eagerly. "If we can find Master Mu, maybe." Patriarch Huyin was speechless. Only one person in this world knows where he is. Feng Xiangnan asked excitedly, "Who is it? Please tell me." Patriarch Huyin dampened his enthusiasm. If that person could show up, would the Dian Empire still be so arrogant? Do you know what happened back then? Seeing the expectant look in Feng Wu's eyes, Patriarch Huyin stopped talking involuntarily. He couldn't afford to reveal this secret. "Senior, which master knows where Master Mu is?" Master Huyin glanced at Feng Wu and said grumpily, "Who else could it be? It's the young friend who has asked me to protect your empire." Feng Xiangnan was shocked. "And that is?" Master Huyin had denied Jun Linyuan's claim, but no one else in the Junwu Empire was capable enough to make him come here. Patriarch Huyin waved him off. He also wanted to know where his master was, but his junior sister had kept it a secret and wouldn't say a word. What choice did he have? "You'll have 3 months. Take care of yourselves." In the end, Master Huyin left. Feng Xiangnan's headache at the thought of what would happen 3 months later. Feng Wu comforted him. "Jun Linyuan will come out of seclusion in 3 months, which is why I've asked for 3 months. Feng Xiangnan shook his head with a wry smile. After all, the girl had no idea how terrifying the Dian Empire was. No individual could withstand the Dian Empire all by themselves. No matter how powerful Jun Linyuan was, he was still one man, even if he made it to that legendary stage. Chapter 3989. Chapter 3989. Relationship with Patriarch Huyin. Chapter 3989. Relationship with Patriarch Huyin. However, Patriarch Huyin was already at that level, and he was still intimidated by the Dian Empire. So, Feng Xiangnan looked at Feng Wu and asked casually, "You seem to be very familiar with Master Huyin." Feng Wu said, "Well, not really. We're just friends." "Does my godfather suspect that I'm Patriarch Huyin's friend?" As a matter of fact, General Feng didn't suspect Feng Wu at all because he asked, "Who do you think that friend of Master Huyin's is? If we can find him, we'll be able to find Master Mu." "Once we find Master Mu," Feng Wu shook her head. "Forget about it. If Master Mu could come out, he would have done so already. Since we haven't heard from him, it only means that he's dead." Feng Xiangnan heaved a sigh. Feng Wu stared at General Feng. No, her master was alive. General Feng rubbed Feng Wu's head. "What do you know? Why would I tell you that?" Feng Wu didn't know what to say. "But you really can't go to the Dongseng Kingdom." "Got it." General Feng reminded Feng Wu. Just then, they heard a voice outside. It was Mr. Lu. Mr. Lu had to be here for something important. "Got it." General Feng reminded Feng Wu again. Feng Wu grinned, but didn't say yes. General Feng decided that he would talk to the girl after talking to Mr. Lu so that she wouldn't run off to Donglin City. However, when General Feng and Mr. Lu came back from their discussion, Feng Wu was nowhere to be seen. General Feng paled and rushed out. After searching for Feng Wu for a while, General Feng still couldn't find her, so he went straight to Elder Hellion. Elder Hellion was thrilled to see General Feng. "General, that girl is incredible. She has defeated 200 fighter jets all by herself. If it hadn't been for her, we would have." Only then did General Feng realize that the girl had made such a great achievement before she went to the spiritual saint battlefield. This girl was practically a treasure in the study of ancient technology. He couldn't afford to lose her. "What? Didn't she go north on your order?" General Feng's face turned livid. Elder Hellion immediately realized what had happened. "What? Wasn't that girl supposed to be there? Did she go there on her own?" General Feng said, "We must stop her." Elder Hellion said, "At her speed, She should have reached Sun Castle by now. General Feng was speechless. Just as Elder Hellion expected, Feng Wu had entered Sun Castle. This wasn't the first time Feng Wu had been here, so she knew the way like the back of her hand. She was even able to sneak into Sun Castle with great ease. Feng Wu had thought that she would be able to get some information from Lord Jing, but as it turned out, Lord Jing was about to set out for Donglin City. Feng Wu heard it when a steward was chatting with Lord Jing's guards. Feng Wu also received some very important information. It would take a normal person at least a month to get to Donglin City, but there was a portal between the Sun Castle and the city. If they walked through the portal, they would soon reach the city. Chapter 3990, Chapter 3990, Donglin City. Chapter 3990, Donglin City. Feng Wu thought, isn't it similar to the Junwu Empire's portal? The Junwu Empire also had a portal from Nest to the Imperial capital. Because of that portal, it didn't take Feng Wu much effort to travel between Nest and the Imperial capital. Feng Wu was secretly elated when she heard the conversation between the guards and the steward. She didn't want to waste her precious time on traveling. If she could use the portal, she would take advantage of it, but she didn't know what it would be like. Feng Wu hid behind a rockery and watched as the guard and the steward parted ways and headed for the living quarters. Feng Wu moved. Feng Wu had reached the peak of the spiritual overlord stage and shouldn't be underestimated. If she was fully equipped, she might even be able to defeat a levelized spiritual saint. Therefore, Feng Wu dragged the guard away without hesitation. According to Feng Wu's observation, the guard was a level 9 spiritual overlord at least. The man struggled, but Feng Wu wouldn't let him. She squeezed his tendons. Lord Jing's guard went limp and couldn't even lift a finger. You? His pupils contracted when he saw Feng Wu. It was obvious that she wasn't from Sun Castle. Who on earth was she? However, Feng Wu didn't give him any chance to warn other people. Your name? Feng Wu asked indifferently. However, the person wasn't very cooperative. He kept darting around, looking for an opportunity to run away. Feng Wu smiled a little. She didn't have time for this, so she took out the truth serum and sprayed it in the man's mouth. After Feng Wu's improvements over and over again, the truth serum now looked like a small sprayer. All she needed to do was spray it in the person's face. As expected, after a few puffs of the truth serum, the guard felt dizzy and was in a trance-like state. Just then, Feng Wu said, Your name? Jingwei. The man stressed each word. Jingwei. Feng Wu didn't like that name at all. Your job. One of Lord Jing's 4 guards. Hence, Feng Wu told the guard to tell her everything he knew. Because Feng Wu had a plan before she caught the guard. She wanted to go to Donglin City to find out the secret of why the Dian Empire wanted to destroy the Junwu Empire. So you're going back to Donglin City with Lord Jing, aren't you? Jingwei nodded. Yes. Feng Wu smiled a little. She knew that she had guessed right. Who's going back this time? Jingwei said, Lord Jing, Senior Ma, and the guards. Senior Ma? Ma Quan Quan, the top spiritual saint. Time. An hour later, Feng Wu smiled. In that case, tell me everything about you, including all your connections and secrets. If Jingwei were conscious, he wouldn't have told Feng Wu this. Unfortunately, he was drugged. Hence, he told Feng Wu everything. More than half of the time had passed. Seeing that she was running out of time, Feng Wu. Chapter 3991, Chapter 3991, Dongsang, Donglin City 1. Chapter 3991, Dongsang, Donglin City 1. Seeing that she was running out of time, Feng Wu knocked the guard out. She then disguised herself as Jingwei and took off his clothes. Soon, Feng Wu looked exactly like him. As for Jingwei, naturally, she packed him up and put him in her ring space. That person would be useful in the future. Fearing that she might defile her beautiful master, Feng Wu had prepared a wooden box in a corner of the ring space, so she stuffed the guard into it. After tidying up the place, Feng Wu headed for the courtyard where Lord Jing used to live. As expected, when Feng Wu arrived, Lord Jing and the others had packed up and were ready to leave. One of the guards frowned when he saw Feng Wu. "What time is it now? Why are you still wandering around? Do you need His Royal Highness to wait for you if you can't make it in time? You can't just open a portal. You'll be left here all by yourself." Feng Wu had learned from Jing Wei that the person who had scolded her was Jing Bao, the captain of the guards of Lord Jing's manor. It was easy to remember the names of the 4 guards, for their given names put together meant protect the empire. The 4 guards were called Jing Bao, Jing Jia, Jing Wei, and Jinghua. The other 3 were all peak level, 9 spiritual overlords. As for how capable the captain was, even Jing Wei couldn't tell. Feng Wu couldn't tell what level the man was either. She only knew that he gave her an unfathomable feeling. Had Lord Jing always had these 4 guards? Yes, because if one of them fell, a new member would replace the dead one, and that new member would inherit the name. Therefore, the 4 guards had changed quite a few times over the years, but the names remained the same. The elite guards were on friendly terms. Hearing this, they tried to mediate the situation. "Brother, it's about time. I think our Lord is coming out." As expected, Lord Jing came out at that moment. He glanced at the guards and asked, "Is everyone here?" Jing Bao threw a dirty look at Feng Wu and told Lord Jing, "Your Royal Highness, everyone is here." Lord Jing waved at him. "Let's go." To the portal. Feng Wu noticed that Jing Bao walked half a meter behind Lord Jing, followed by Jing Jia. As the 3rd brother, Feng Wu quickly followed Jing Jia, and Jinghua, who had been silent this whole time, was right behind her. Feng Wu had only just arrived and didn't want to stand out. Hence, she kept her ears open and kept her eyes lowered as she tried to memorize everything. She needed Lord Jing's help to get to Donglin City, and she needed to make her way into the upper circle of the Dongseng Kingdom. Only then would she be able to achieve her goal. If she couldn't finish the task, no one in the Junwu Empire would survive 3 months later. Her family, her friends, the people she cared about, and the people she protected would all be crushed by dying. She would never let that happen. And this task was so dangerous that even Feng Wu wasn't sure that she could complete it. She had to do her best and leave it to fate. For instance, it was already very dangerous for Feng Wu to sneak into Lord Jing's team. Jing Bao was much more capable than her, and Lord Jing was even more so. Feng Wu also saw Ma Quan after she met up with the others. He was a peak spiritual saint of Dian. If she made the slightest mistake, she would be crushed to pieces. Chapter 3992. Chapter 3992. Dongseng Donglin City 2. Chapter 3992. Dongseng Donglin City 2. "Let's go," said Ma Quan. Because of his special privilege, Lord Jing could use the portal once. Under normal circumstances, the portal would only open once a month. Inside, Feng Wu noticed Ma Quan sitting in a corner and cultivating. Lord Jing was Ma Chuan's pupil, so of course, Ma Quan had his pupil serve him. Lord Jing told his guards to back off and make some space for him, while he knelt down in front of Ma Quan. Ma Quan glanced at him and was very satisfied with his humble behavior. "Do you have something to ask?" Ma Quan couldn't help but ask when he saw Lord Jing's expression. Lord Jing asked, "Master, does the Empire have to destroy Junwu?" Ma Quan smiled. "So what if the answer is yes?" Lord Jing immediately smiled obsequiously. "If that's the case, it'll be great. From now on, the Dongseng Kingdom will be invincible on this continent. No other kingdom will be able to threaten our existence." Feng Wu kept her gaze on the ground, but was watching Ma Quan from the corner of her eyes. She cared more about the answer than Lord Jing did. Ma Quan nodded. "Don't worry, Junwu is doomed." Lord Jing grinned. "That's great. When the Junwu falls, I'll ask His Majesty to let me run the place. When that happens..." Ma Quan gave him a strange look. Lord Jing sensed it. So he looked at Ma Quan in bewilderment. "Master, why are you looking at me like that?" It was as if he was looking at an idiot. Ma Quan said indifferently, "What do you think?" Lord Jing scratched his head and was confused. If that happened, the general empire would be at their mercy. Was there something behind it? Seeing that his silly pupil still couldn't figure it out, Ma Quan was worried that Lord Jing would make the request to his king, so he made it clear. When that happens, the general empire won't exist anymore. What place are you going to run to? Lord Jing said, "Master, although Junwu is gone, we still have their land, people, and wealth." Ma Quan shook his head. "No, they won't be there." Lord Jing was confused. "Why is that? Wait, is everything going to die in?" Ma Quan shook his head. "There will be nothing left." Lord Jing was still confused, but he had a feeling. Seeing that his master had closed his eyes and wouldn't say another word, he didn't dare to disturb him, but he was still very suspicious. Lord Jing couldn't figure it out, but someone as smart as Feng Wu felt a chill run down her spine. If what Ma Quan said was true, it meant Junwu would be wiped out. Did he mean that Junwu's people, land, wealth, and everything else would be wiped off the map? Why? Feng Wu was utterly confused. Even if they were defeated and surrendered, the common people should still be able to live. Why would they all be wiped out? Just then, Lord Jing suddenly realized something. "Master, are you saying that everyone in the Junwu Empire is going to die? No one is going to live?" Ma Quan glanced at him and nodded. Feng Wu was astonished. She took a few deep breaths, and Ma Quan turned his cold gaze on her. Chapter 3993. Chapter 3993. Dongsang, Donglin City 3. Chapter 3993. Dongsang, Donglin City 3. Right now, Feng Wu didn't dare to let anything show on her face. She took a deep breath and buried her astonishment. Luckily, Feng Wu wasn't the only one who was shocked. The other 3 guards and Lord Jing were all in a state of astonishment. Therefore, Ma Quan only glanced at her and didn't pay much attention to her. Lord Jing looked at Ma Quan in astonishment and wanted to ask more, but the peak spiritual saint waved him off. "That's a secret. Don't ask." Lord Jing was experienced enough to know that his master didn't want to reveal more. Ma Quan looked at the 4 guards behind him. Lord Jing said, "They've all taken a blood oath. They're loyal to me and won't say a word." Ma Quan nodded and said casually, "If they leak the information, we'll destroy their entire clan." Lord Jing nodded immediately. Yes. Feng Wu could sense the other guards tense up. They were so nervous that they looked like statues. Feng Wu's head spun a little as well. She had thought that it was a serious matter, but now that the peak spiritual saint had told her the truth, Feng Wu realized that it was much more serious than she had expected. Even if the Junwu Empire was defeated this time, they would have a chance to revive. That was what Feng Wu thought at first. However, Ma Chuan's words made it very clear to Feng Wu that this wouldn't happen again. Dian was going to get rid of them all. But why? Wasn't Dian afraid of divine retribution? Feng Wu wanted to ask that question, but she couldn't. She closed her eyes and forced herself to calm down. She knew that there had to be something behind it, something she didn't know. The Junwu Empire was a vast empire, and she was the only one that could save it. Therefore, she had to figure out what was going on. They didn't talk again until they were out of the portal. Feng Wu thought that Ma Quan would go back to Lord Jing's manor with Lord Jing, but he didn't. Ma Quan moved into the Imperial Palace. Feng Wu asked around and found out that Princess Yanling lived in the Imperial Palace, and Ma Quan was only there to deal with Feng Xiangnan and the other Junwu elders. It was only normal that he was back with Princess Yanling. Lord Jing went straight to the Imperial Palace and told the king what had happened. Feng Wu could imagine what Lord Jing would report. Patriarch Yin had ruined the Dongsang Kingdom's plan and delayed it by 3 months. Would the Dongsang King attack the Northern Yin Kingdom? He didn't dare to do it before, but with the help of Dian, the Dongsang King might actually make a move. The 4 guards were able to follow Lord Jing into the Imperial Palace, but they could only wait in the long corridor outside when the king and Lord Jing were discussing a matter in the study. Feng Wu could faintly hear the sound of porcelain being smashed. The Dongseng king was furious. Before long, Lord Jing came out, and Feng Wu noticed a wound the size of a baseball on his forehead. Blood was oozing out. Jing Bao quickly handed him a hemostatic pack. Lord Jing's face was livid, and his eyes were wide open. Without another word, he headed for the door. Feng Wu and the others quickly followed him. Chapter 3994. Chapter 3994. Noticed by Lord Jing 1. Chapter 3994. Noticed by Lord Jing 1. Feng Wu and the others quickly followed him. Lord Jing went back to his study and slammed the door when they were back at the manor. The four guards looked at one another in bewilderment. In the end, Jing Bao, the head of the guard, said, "Lord Jing is inside. 2 of us should stay here. The other 2 will come back to take over the shift in a few hours. Jing Jia and Jing Wei, you're on guard for the first half of the night." Because of Jing Jia's close relationship with Jing Wei, Jing Bao had never liked them. Hence, he left with Jing Gua. After they left, Jing Jia sighed and whispered, "Lord Jing is in a bad mood now. I'm sure he'll vent his anger on someone. Let's be careful." Feng Wu nodded earnestly. When she lowered her head was spinning. She wasn't here to have fun. She was here for something big. Putting everything else aside, she had to figure out why the Dian Empire wanted to destroy everyone in the Junwu Empire. Only then would she have a chance to figure out a way to solve it. Feng Wu felt a chill run down her spine when she thought about what would happen when Dian attacked the continent on their own. And she had to find her 3rd senior brother. The 3rd broken star piece was with her 3rd senior brother, so she had to find him and get it. With him as her patron, she could go wherever she wanted. However, the 2 tasks were equally hard. Recalling her capability, Feng Wu sighed inwardly. She used to think that she was very capable, but here in Lord Jing's manor, she was only as good as one of the 4 guards. She couldn't come and go freely in this manner, let alone the Dongseng kingdom. If only she could become a spiritual saint now. Once she reached the spiritual saint stage, she would rise to a whole new level. When that happened, even Lord Jing would have to treat her with great respect. It would be so convenient for her to travel around. "What's on your mind?" Jing Jia looked curiously at Feng Wu. Feng Wu said, "The captain's capability." Jing Jia said, "He's a spiritual saint." Feng Wu said, "I knew it." Jing Jia asked, "Do you want to become a spiritual saint as well?" Feng Wu snapped, "What do you mean by that?" "Everyone wants to become a spiritual saint." Jing Jia said, "It's not that. I just don't want you to overthink it. Instead of thinking about such useless things, you should focus on your job." Seeing that Feng Wu wouldn't accept it, he smiled bitterly. Level 9 spiritual overlords are indeed only 1 level away from the spiritual saint stage, but this gap is like the deepest oceanic trench. How many level 9 spiritual overlords do we have? And how many can rise to the spiritual saint stage? There's a 1% chance. Feng Wu's stomach lurched. The Dongseng kingdom had so many spiritual overlords. Feng Wu nodded. Jing Jia added, "Many people are stuck at the spiritual overlord stage for the rest of their lives. It's already very rare for someone of your age to have such a cultivation level. Don't even think about it. It's impossible." Feng Wu said, "What if I really make a breakthrough?" Jing Jia said grumpily, "If you really make a breakthrough, I'll do whatever you want me to do." "How's that?" "Tisk, it's impossible, but you're still delusional. I don't know what to say about you." Just then, Chapter 3995. Chapter 3995. Noticed by Lord Jing 2. Chapter 3995. Noticed by Lord Jing 2. Just then, the door opened with a creak. The 2 guards immediately straightened their backs. Lord Jing glanced at them coldly. "What were you talking about?" Feng Wu didn't say anything, so Jing Jia said, "My lord, I was only joking with Jing Wei." Lord Jing didn't have much patience. He said coldly, "Speak." Jing Jia didn't expect Lord Jing to get to the bottom of it. So he said, "Jing Wei said that he wanted to become a spiritual saint, but I said that he couldn't do it." "Really?" Lord Jing turned to Feng Wu. "Did you really say that?" Feng Wu knew that Lord Jing was on the verge of losing his temper, and it wasn't because of her. Jing Jia kept giving Feng Wu warning glances, telling her to get over it as soon as possible and stop making empty promises. If she couldn't keep her promise, Lord Jing would kill her. However, Feng Wu knew that if she lied to someone as capricious as Lord Jing, he would probably kill her the next moment. Therefore, she had to be honest when dealing with such people. Even if she wasn't, she had to pretend to be. Therefore, Feng Wu lowered her eyes and said in a flustered but calm voice, "Did say that. I do want to become a spiritual saint as soon as possible." Lord Jing's face was livid, and his eyes were as sharp as an eagle's. "Why do you want to become a spiritual saint as soon as possible?" asked Lord Jing casually. Feng Wu said, "The Dongsang Kingdom is going to war with the Junwu Kingdom soon. At this critical moment, if I'm stronger, I'll be able to help you. I just want to protect you." Lord Jing didn't say anything for a while. However, Feng Wu could feel the intense gaze on her. If he realized that something was wrong, he would probably cut her neck open. Lord Jing was a spiritual saint. If he found out that Feng Wu was an impersonator here in the manor, Feng Wu would never be able to get away. Anyone else would have been flustered by the sharp look in his eyes. That was what happened to Jing Jia, whose hands were trembling in his sleeves. All of a sudden, Lord Jing turned his cold gaze on Feng Wu. "Look up." Feng Wu slowly looked up. To make herself look like Jing Wei, Feng Wu had to put on an exquisite disguise that included her eye area. If one didn't lift her eyelid, they wouldn't notice that mask. Lord Jing stared at Feng Wu with his soul-stirring eyes. For a moment, Feng Wu thought that she was going to suffocate. As a matter of fact, she had broken into a cold sweat, and it was dripping down her back, almost soaking her clothes. "You can withstand my mental pressure?" Lord Jing was obviously surprised. Feng Wu pretended that her legs had given out. She stumbled back and almost fell. In terms of mental power, although he was already a spiritual saint, he might not be her match. "Good," Lord Jing cried out in surprise. "I didn't know that after so many twists and turns, I had a treasure that I didn't know of." Somehow, Feng Wu felt that the laughter was too wild, as if something crazy was hidden in it. "Come with me." Lord Jing quickly led the way after that. Chapter 3996. Chapter 3996. Noticed by Lord Jing 3. Chapter 3996. Noticed by Lord Jing 3. Feng Wu and Jing Jia looked at each other, and Jing Jia gave her a concerned look. "Be careful." Feng Wu nodded, then followed Lord Jing. Lord Jing was a junior spiritual saint, and Feng Wu wasn't weak either. If they were to fight, Feng Wu might not lose. Lord Jing led Feng Wu into the study. However, the study was only a facade, and inside was a secret room. There was a painting on the wall of the study, and it depicted a man wearing a green robe. Lord Jing slid a finger across a button on his belly. The door to the secret room slowly opened. Lord Jing waved at Feng Wu with a smile. "Come with me." Wherever Lord Jing passed, candles lit up in the dark passageway. Instantly, the tunnel was as bright as day. Lord Jing led the way, and Feng Wu quickly followed him. Feng Wu looked around and paid close attention to her surroundings. Soon, a bronze door appeared ahead of them. Lord Jing unlocked it with a special method and entered first. Feng Wu followed him in. As soon as she walked in, Feng Wu sensed a dense spiritual essence coming her way. Lord Jing turned around and gave Feng Wu an indifferent look. "Jing Wei, how have I been treating you?" Feng Wu immediately feigned a respectful tone and bowed. "My lord, of course, you've been very kind to me. I'll always remember that. Are you willing to give up your life for me?" Crossing his hands behind his back, Lord Jing raised his chin and stared at Feng Wu arrogantly. Shocked, Feng Wu felt a chill run down her spine. However, Feng Wu was the most level-headed person. She calmed herself down and said, "It's my honor to die for you." If Lord Jing dared to kill her, she would kill him before he could do anything. Fortunately, Lord Jing guffawed, and the intimidating energy soon dissipated. Lord Jing smiled. "I've carefully chosen you as my guard, and you're very loyal, but you're still one step away from completing the task. I'll only believe you if you can do it. I'll give you a future that'll change your life." Feng Wu didn't care what that future was, but she had to do as Lord Jing said. Lord Jing might sound polite, but if she didn't do as he said, he might try to kill her again. "Look ahead of you. This is the essence pool," said Lord Jing. "You have good mental strength. Temper it well after you go in." Feng Wu saw that it was more like a wooden tub than a pool. The lid was on the bucket and could be removed at any moment. Feng Wu could see smoke rising out of the gaps, and it had already been refined. Feng Wu was amazed. It was an extremely precious liquid that had been purified twice. It wasn't something common spiritual stones or spiritual liquid could compare with. "Go in." Lord Jing smiled at Feng Wu. It was obvious that the pool was for Lord Jing himself, but now he was smiling at her. He had either recognized her and wanted to use this chance to drown her, or was using her as an experiment. Because he wasn't sure about the purity and measurement of the liquid, Feng Wu felt the latter was more likely, so Chapter 3997 Chapter 3997 A Spiritual Saint 1 Chapter 3997 A Spiritual Saint 1 Feng Wu felt it was the latter, so she walked into the bucket without hesitation. Lord Jing stared at her and said in a kind voice, "I've prepared this pool for you. Cultivate well. Don't worry about anything. Just focus on your cultivation. If you can become a spiritual saint in one go, it'll be the greatest reward for me. I don't care how much spiritual liquid you use." Looking at the liquid in the pool, Feng Wu turned to Lord Jing and asked sincerely, "Are you sure you don't mind the cost?" Lord Jing waved his hand. "Use whatever you want and absorb as much as you want. I've been there, and I know better than you that this trip will cost me a lot of spiritual liquid. If you can't make a breakthrough, you won't be able to absorb much even if you want to. Don't worry. Even if you absorb all the spiritual liquid, I won't blame you." Lord Jing thought, "How can you absorb that much? I only absorbed a shallow layer. Who do you think you are? Are you more talented than me?" The more one absorbed, the more talented they had to be. Feng Wu nodded at those words, but she still had to show her gratitude. Lord Jing waved him off. "Go back to your cultivation. I'll wait for you in the cultivation room next door." After that, he put his hands behind his back and waddled off. Lord Jing was over the moon. Either way, it was a win-win situation for him. If Jing Wei succeeded, they would have another spiritual saint in the Jing manor. His Majesty would be so happy. If Jing Wei failed, well, it was only natural that he would fail. Success was almost impossible. If he failed, it would mean that the concentration of the liquid wasn't good enough, and Lord Jing could make some adjustments. Jing Wei would be an excellent test subject. What was the harm of that? No matter what, it was still a win-win situation. While Lord Jing went to the room next door, humming a tune, Feng Wu started cultivating. Meanwhile, the other two guards, Jing Bao and Jing Gua, were on their way to change shifts. They were surprised when they saw that the Lord wasn't here and that Jing Jia was alone. "Where's Lord Jing?" Jing Bao asked anxiously. Jing Jia smiled bitterly. "He left." Jing Bao said, "Aren't you supposed to be on duty? Why didn't you stay with Lord Jing? Why did you let him leave? You're not worth it." Jing Jia didn't know what to say. "Where's Jing Wei?" Jing Bao asked anxiously. Lord Jing wasn't here, nor was Jing Wei. Lord Jing took him away, Jing Jia stammered. "Why did His Grace leave with him alone? What happened?" Jing Bao asked. Jing Jia had no choice but to tell her what happened. "What?" Jing Bao stared at Sapphiro in astonishment. "Are you saying that Jing Wei said he wanted to become a spiritual saint?" Jing Jia nodded. Jing Bao snorted. "Who the hell does he think he is? He can't make a breakthrough just because he wants to. He's only a level 9 spiritual overlord. It'll take him decades to make that breakthrough. Jing Bao was the only spiritual saint among the guards, but Jing Wei was so ambitious. So his grace took him inside to cultivate. Jing Bao frowned. Jing Jian nodded. That you're tuning in to the Warrior Lore YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.